want to make sure that I acknowledge the sponsor of the show, Tiege Hanley, because Tiege Hanley sent me this new pack. They sent me the new Tiege pack, so I just literally pulled the paper out, got it out of the mail, and I started going through it, and I got a little bit more excited than I should. You know what I'm saying? So they did send me the Tiege pack, and I don't even know what this is yet. So I'm assuming this is what you get when you first order your Tiege, and I don't know what this is. Oh, this is dope. This is absolutely dope. Is this a nail kit? Ladies, get this for the fellas. Fellas, don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. This is free. This just comes with it. 30% off your first order, plus 20% off for life. Literally. Oh, snaps. I didn't know that they were sending it like this. Real talk. So this is the nail kit that they sending you. All right, so now you ain't looking like a dusty. This is a free gift straight from Tiege for the people that ordered the Tiege. They got the small one for the little hands like mine's. They got the big joints for your toenails. And then they got the joints at the bottom too. You know what I'm saying? For y'all that's a little bit more crustier than usual. All right, so that's one of the free gifts that Tiege got inside of the pack. And then what is this? Says squeeze a quarter-size amount of Tiege Hanley body wash on the center of the wet bristles. Lather, scrub, rinse, and repeat for the perfectly satisfying wash every time. So that's inside of there also, right? Ooh, I can get my rubber ducky on right here. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Tiege for sending me that uncomplicated skincare for men. And then what we got in here? We got the actual Tiege pack, right? So this is the normal Tiege pack. But then they gave me the supersized joint for the people. They wanted me to show the people exactly what they got when they ordered that first Tiege pack, when you're getting your 30% off your first order, and then you get your free gifts. You get 2 free gifts, and then the 20% off for life. So the 20% off for life is a new thing. And, dang, I ain't even got my keys on me to open this up. Maybe I can use the little nail clipper thing. I ain't got to buy no nail clipper for my new joint downtown. And then you get all of the washes, all of the scrubs, all of the AM, the PMs, and all of that stuff. So you got the whole thing inside of there for you to make sure you take care of yourself. But you got to make sure you take care of it every day, right? We don't want to miss days. We don't want to be looking like dusties. It does not absolve you from being able to make sure that you brush your teeth. Brush your teeth. It don't fix the teeth problem. Don't fix you ironing your clothes. Don't fix you being able to take care of your business. But it absolutely makes sure that your skin is phenomenal, even when you go in between shaves. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Tiege Hanley. We absolutely appreciate you. Thank you for continuing to hold us down. I might do an official Tiege commercial, but I like just talking authentically to the people. I like giving the people the authentic look of what it is that you're dealing with, and I want you to hear from me personally. Because anybody can do that little pitch and they can make some little videos, but very few of us can actually speak to the products of exactly what it is that you're supposed to use. So yeah, Tiege Hanley, 30% off your first order and then 20% off for life. That's the Anton Daniels pack, 20% off for life. Using any other Tiege pack, make sure that you go ahead and let that go. And make sure you tap into the link that's in the description and take care of it, all right? What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your host, Anton Daniels. Don't ask me why I'm so motivated to win on a daily basis if you are not a chaser. If you are not a bag chaser, drop the video this morning of my 8 streams of income. It's about 20 minutes long, probably a little less than 20 minutes. It's about 20 minutes long. It's an awesome video. I break down everything that I do, how I do it, when I do it, and then I'm going to give you all the details on individual videos on future mastermind sessions. If you are missing out, if you're not kicking it, if you're not subscribed to this channel on the Millionaire Morning Show, if you're not subscribed to the Anton Daniels channel, we got it in last night. It was a phenomenal show. Shout out to Molly. Shout out to Carrie. Shout out to Jazz. All of the people that was on the panel. It was an awesome conversation. And I am very, very, very much excited to continue to push the envelope and push things forward. Join the Bag Chasers. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top. Well, it's not pinned to the top of the chat yet. I'll put it in the top of the chat. But in addition to that, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up? It's Anton Daniels, September 24th, 2024, year of our Lord. Shout out to the people. Shout out to the chasers. Shout out to everybody that's running it up. I cannot wait. Yes, it was wild, Larry Walker. I cannot wait to kick it with you guys in our first tour stop for Let's Rant About It in Atlanta. I can't wait. I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. Make sure y'all use discount code Anton. I just put that link in the chat. It's also in the description, and I will pin it to the top of the chat just so y'all can do that. Discount code Anton, and then make sure you hit apply so that you get your discount. We're going to be there, not next month, November 2nd. November 2nd, we're going to kick it. We're going to be there. It's going to be absolutely awesome. It's going to be a hoop, hollering of a good time. And I cannot wait to link up with y'all in order to run up a bag and have some uncomfortable conversations in person. So make sure y'all tune into that. That's going to be great. Tiege Hanley, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. It's an awesome product. Make sure you get your Tiege. Do not miss out. Do not slow your roll. Ladies, get it for the fellas. Fellas, don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. And let's run it up, all right? What else do we got going on? I dropped a Patreon video this morning. Tiege Hanley, get your tickets. And it's just a great day. It's just an awesome day. So shout out to y'all. Shout out to the chasers. Shout out to everybody. Our next thing that we got coming up inside of the Patreon is Real Estate Club. So that is what I'm excited about. So we got Real Estate Club, then we go back to Stock Club, then a mastermind session, and then exclusive videos, and then we do the meetup in Atlanta. All right? All right? Let's run it up. What up, Neon Cube? Neon Cube in the building. Treese, your car, Feet Funkerson. Mel, Leslie Aaron, More Knowledge. Azriel, Say Max, Loso's Way. Hey, how did y'all enjoy the show yesterday? It was an awesome show. It was an awesome show. So dial in, tune in. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel. We are going to be here for the next couple of hours, and we're going to get it in. All right? So let's get to it, y'all. What y'all say? First things first, we go ahead and get straight to it. You're in Broward, Tampa side of Florida. Gets hit this weekend. We only get the side effects. Okay, I see you. I see you. All right, y'all. And listen, don't sit here and talk to me and start having a conversation with me about what you're not able to achieve and you need the game. I need a coaching call. You ain't even watched the Patreon exclusive video. Some of y'all questions can be answered before y'all even talk to me. But if you just want to kick it with your boy, then we can kick it. We can talk on the phone. All right, y'all. How about we go ahead and get into the show? We got to do quick hits, so let's get it popping. Quick hits is a segment of the show. I need to change this. I got a new little circular thing that we got going on. But I need to change that. Quick hits is a segment of the show that we don't necessarily think that we need to highlight each individual segment on its own, but we definitely want to keep y'all on the loop what's going on in these streets, man. So first things first, the Oakland Mayor, Mayor Sheng Tao, ramps up homelessness sweeps. Check it out.
Tonight, new details on Oakland's plan to ramp up sweeps of homeless encampments. An executive order issued today by Mayor Sheng Tao. KTVU's Betty Yu live tonight in Oakland with the story. Betty?
Mayor Sheng Tao said that being homeless in Oakland isn't a crime, but it doesn't give people the right to break other laws. Now, she said that the workers who carry out this new initiative will lead with compassion and service. Mayor Sheng Tao said Oakland is taking a more aggressive stance on homeless encampments in the wake of a U.S. Supreme Court ruling in June that granted cities new authority to clear tents more quickly. Aunt Moreno lives under the overpass near the Oakland Police Department headquarters. What if they swept this one?
Wouldn't be the first time.
Where would you go?
Back.
I mean, ain't no telling.
He coming
No,
back.
you don't have a plan. In a pre-recorded statement, Mayor Sheng Tao said the order is effective immediately. The city will focus on encampments near schools, small businesses, and homes. Workers will also target encampments that block traffic and bike lanes or impede first responders from doing their jobs.
She doesn't understand. People don't want to live outside. This is a mental health issue. I was homeless for 12 years. I want to see some crew or some
Go look homeless.
crew of 20 come out here, some outreach psychologists.
The mayor said homeless people will be offered shelter and services.
Homie sitting in the chair with Jordans on. I see you.
The city offered you shelter. Would you take it?
I guess it depends on the circumstances. You know what I'm saying?
That amazes me. And that actually brings me to my point. Most of these people, and I've worked with homeless people for over a year straight. Y'all have heard me talk about that. I've told that story 1,000 times. Most of these people, they be talking to you like they doing you a favor. Hey man, I got some housing for you. We got some resources, and I'll allow for you to be able to take a shower, get some housing at least for the next couple of weeks, get you on your feet, possibly get you some ID. Maybe we can get you a job and so on and so forth. They be looking at you. This is real. They look at you. They like, what are my other options? That's the honest to God's truth. I'm going to read the super chat shortly. They look at you like, what are my other options? What else you got for me? You know what? I'd rather stay on the streets and chill. That's the honest to God truth. I would say like 95% of everybody that you reach out to, they'd be like if you walk up to somebody and be like, hey man, listen, I can go and buy you some food. They'd be like, I was asking for some money. Dude sat up there like he had options. He said, it depends on what you got up here for me. Most of the time when they remove these people from the streets, they go somewhere else until they start sweeping over there, and then they move right back to the part that they swept. And they be like, oh man, you cleaned it up over here. Okay, we back. And so we need more permanent solutions for this. And I'm not saying solutions as far as like, hey, throw resources or give them some money. I'm talking about some tough love out here in these streets. But that's just me.
Like, I'm not going to be going to drug programs and none of that.
The city said it's been actively clearing tents. In fact, on Friday, it cleaned up a long-standing homeless encampment on MLK Jr. Way, where it said crime was rampant.
We do have to clean this because it's ugly. This is the Bay Area. This is supposed to be like, where they come to vacation and everything, but it's kind of hard to say, look at the Bay Area, and it's a mess.
The mayor directed all city departments, including police and fire, to fully execute the order and enforce city codes to protect critical and essential infrastructure.
Look at that craziness.
The Oakland Police Union issued a statement calling the move a last-minute political stunt before Mayor Tao's recall election in November. The mayor and the city of Oakland has exactly 2 officers assigned to the encampment unit. There will be many more of us required to fully carry out this order. Where are they coming from?
Now, I will say that the Police Officers Association, although they are adamantly against Mayor Sheng Tao, they wrong on this one, because that order came straight from Gavin Newsom, because Newsom is threatening to withhold resources if these cities don't execute on starting to clean up this homelessness problem. Now, we don't know what Gavin Newsom's final play is. We don't know if he's doing this for the Olympics. We don't know if he's doing this for a 2028 run to say, hey, I cleaned up the streets. We don't know what that is. But Gavin Newsom has handed down orders and said that resources will be withheld from cities unless you guys start to execute on this whole homelessness thing. So with the Police Officers Association continuously pushing back, and even though they know that there's limited resources to go into it, it has to be done. You got to clean up the streets. So I can't even, as much as I don't care for Mayor Sheng Tao, I can't rock with this. You got to do your job, and it's not up to you. You got to do what it is that you're tasked to do.
And the Oakland Police Union added that this was the first they had even heard of the order today. Now, the mayor also said that she was once homeless herself. She lived in a car with her son, and she's so grateful that she did have access to services and affordable housing then, and the city will continue to make those offers. Mike?
So a lot of these people and a lot of these transplants, they just be wanting to be on the street. They ain't trying to fix their life. That's the honest to God truth. A deadly shooting resulted from an unpaid gambling debt. Check it out.
Learning more details surrounding a deadly shooting at a South Bay transit yard. Valley Transportation Authority officials identifying that victim as Regulus Teotico, a 10-year employee and bus driver. Our South Bay reporter Jesse Gary joining us now live from San Jose. And Jesse, investigators also revealing today that they believe the motive had to do with a gambling debt.
Heather, that is exactly right, and we'll talk about that in just a second.
Buddy, I don't trust nobody. No beard, no stash, and you ain't even got no chapstick. Nope. Wouldn't trust this guy as far. I mean, listen, got them drunk collars, got no undershirt on, none of that. I don't trust it. And you didn't iron. Did you iron your shirt this morning, big dog? I don't trust no man that don't got no beard, no mustache. Well, let me not say none. It's very hard. It's a barrier to entry before I started to trust a man with no beard and no mustache. But let's continue.
Over the course of the past hour, I was able to speak with Reggie Teotico's family, and I can tell you they are devastated by his murder and are in a state of mourning. Meanwhile, investigators say the crime at the center of this is tied to a gambling debt, as Heather said, involving the shooter, who was also a VTA employee. Family members say 45-year-old Regulus Reggie Teotico was caring and humorous and passionate about being a parent of 2 teens.
And he was a gambler.
He was also loved by his work family at the Valley Transportation Authority.
He was a kind, hardworking driver.
Everybody is kind and hardworking.
Well known amongst his colleagues.
Hey, listen, when I go, when it's my time, and hopefully I go when I'm like 95 and I'm still, you know what I'm saying, I'm mobile. And I'm taking them blue chews. Don't use the same tagline for me. Don't say he was caring, he was kind, he was loved by the community. Say something else. Hey, man, Anton will grab you up by your neck and say, get your life together. Like, give me some other tagline. Don't give me the same tagline that they use for everybody, whether you're a criminal, whether you're a good person, whether you was in a church, or whether you was a devil worshiper. They use the same tagline for every person. Oh, he was nice, kind, sweet. Everybody loved him in the community. He just wasn't paying his debts.
His family grieves his murder. Monday, Santa Clara County, San Jose, and VTA leaders gathering at the sheriff's office and grappling with the impact of another transit workplace shooting.
There really are no words that can adequately express the immense pain and suffering I know our workforce is going through.
Late Friday night, investigators say 33-year-old VTA bus driver Duck Min Bui shot and killed fellow driver Regulus Teotico.
Not Duck Min Bui. Not Duck Min Bui. Oh, Jesus.
At the transit agency's Shibuya yard.
This was a senseless crime, without question. And while it was an isolated, targeted event, we recognize the profound impact it has had on all of us.
Detectives say an unpaid gambling debt is at the center of the crime.
They were known to participate in the same activities outside of their VTA employment. And most importantly, although this investigation is still ongoing, we believe the motive had to do with money owed between the two.
This latest fatal shooting at a VTA facility triggering nightmarish memories of the May 2021 mass murder. Former employee Sam Cassidy is accused of killing 9 co-workers before taking his own life.
For many people, this is
reliving one of the
worst experiences they've ever had
in
their
life.
That still resonates with all of us and still impacts us each and every day.
Officials say security has been heightened along the VTA system and at the yard where the shooting took place. That yard is unsecured and open to the public.
We are constantly, literally daily, multiple times a day, reevaluating that. We're working with VTA safety and security teams or emergency management planners.
What's going on with the VTA? Y'all got gambling rings, chicks coming in and out, people getting killed, mass shootings. Y'all just in there running amok, huh? You and Chang Mang Pui, or whatever his name was.
We're assessing not only the need for the increased security, but where specifically. Right now we're concentrating on all the yards.
Investigators say that Bowie had a permit to own weapons, but it's unclear if the weapon that was used in this crime was legally purchased or all.
Listen, we ain't got to figure this out. I'll tell you exactly what happened. They was doing what they was doing, playing shooting dice or whatever they had going on. Actually, Asians, they like to play baccarat. That's what they do. They like to play baccarat. It's a huge, huge thing in the Asian community. He owes some money. Dude got paid. Hey, man, where my money? Hey, I ain't got it. Hey, you just got paid. Hey, where my money? Argument probably ensued. He said, I'll pay you your money when I get ready to. They do all of that, the same thing that they was doing on Minister Society in the beginning of the movie. Emotions got involved. Somebody lost their life. Now somebody going to jail for the rest of their life. That's pretty much the gist of it. That's what happens. And that's why you don't get involved with the foolishness that's happening in these workplaces. You go home, you go to work, you do your job, and you go home. Don't hang out. Don't do nothing. Don't pass go. I am there to get a bag. And unless you're trying to work your way up through the ranks and get promoted, then you ain't got no business doing all of that extra. You're getting your work wife, you're getting your work husband, now you're gambling, you're getting her pregnant. It's too messy. It's too messy. But anyways, and then last but not least, Newsom signs a bill against sideshows.
Governor Newsom makes a move to fight ongoing sideshows by signing several bills into law. But tonight, Bay Area residents doubtful it'll bring real change to city streets.
There's no follow through. It doesn't matter. Words aren't enough at this point. That's what I think. I need to see actions. Nothing ever changes in Oakland. It's the same thing.
Same thing statewide, but possibly not for long. Good evening, everyone. I'm Mike Meeback.
And I'm Heather Holmes. Today, a bipartisan effort to crack down on sideshows and street takeovers, getting the green light from Governor Newsom. So today, the governor signed 4 bills into law, all written by Republican lawmakers. Let's begin with AB 1978. It prohibits people from participating in speed contests. AB 2186 gives police the ability to impound vehicles for 30 days if the driver is arrested for reckless driving, speed contest, or speeding on a highway. Also tonight, AB 2807 the governor signed. It prohibits people from operating a vehicle for their work if their vehicle was involved in a sideshow. And finally, AB 3085. It makes sideshows part of the list of offenses, allowing police to impound a vehicle pursuant to a warrant or order issued by a judge. Now,
most of those vehicles are stolen anyway, so I don't think any of this is going to be relevant, but they need to have harsher penalties for people that get caught doing sideshows.
Today's signings following ongoing action from the governor to try to fight crime, including smash and grabs and auto burglaries. KTV's Amber Lee joining us now live from Oakland, a city plagued by sideshows. So, Amber, how are residents feeling about this new legislation?
Heather, we went into 2 neighborhoods where people tell us that sideshows are a constant problem. Some have taken cell phone videos to turn over to police and city leaders. They tell me the problem is the lack of consistent enforcement. So now they doubt that new laws will have any impact. The sights and sounds of sideshows are familiar to people who live in Oakland's Fruitvale neighborhood and other areas. They say they take place at all hours of the day and night. This video shows a fence knocked down by an out-of-control vehicle earlier this month.
Somebody can get killed. Somebody can get shot. You may never know if they have a gun or weapon on them in the car.
To help law enforcement crack down on dangerous sideshows and street takeovers, Governor Gavin Newsom signed 4 new bills Monday. In a statement, he said in part, "We are sending a clear message to anyone considering participating in or attending a sideshow. Stricter penalties are in place, including the potential loss of your vehicle."
Let me say this. I don't know what Gavin Newsom's play is here. I don't know why he's becoming more conservative, cracking down on sideshows, want to clean up homelessness. He doing photo ops of him specifically out there doing homelessness work and cleaning up camps and stuff like that. I don't know what the play is. But most of those vehicles are stolen. That's number one. And then number 2, you need harsher penalties on people, like actually sending them to jail for an extended period of time so that they'll actually learn the lesson. And you got to start making examples of people. And you got to actually put the resources to it. Bills don't mean anything if the police don't even have the capability to stop these people, or they get sued if they decide to pursue the people. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's your quick hits. All right, let me read some of the super chats and the cash apps, and then we're going to go ahead and get into the show. Jamal Park says, just saw the last Patreon video. Can you go into more detail regarding contracting. It's a video that I did on a Patreon where I say, and I break down exactly how I make, I'm not going to say what the number is for the general public, but how I make everything that I make. And if you want me to actually show you some of the contracts and stuff like that, we can go through that on the Patreon. How it's set up, how you get the contracts, etc. Sounds really interesting. I would also support you having your own platform from Patreon. Do y'all want to move off of Patreon and then move on to a separate platform? Shout out to Jamal Parks. Y'all let me know. Cultivator says, keep up the great job, fam. Thank you to Cultivator. I appreciate you also. Mace Laurie in the building says, watched the 8 streams of income exclusive this morning on the way to office. Talk about motivational. You like that? If y'all bag chasers, make sure y'all go and watch that video. It's good. Point says, just watched the $1 million life hack video. Do you think I can apply this as a trucker? Can I do the IT hustle while being a trucker too? No. What I do think you should do is be working on your career as you're also doing truck driving, which would then leapfrog you into that position and be able to take advantage of it. But you have to be in the field. You have to be in the field in order to get there. You can't do both. You can't do both. Not that. Because truck driving, from what I've heard, is a very hands-on business. But what I do is I do more management, and I take my expertise and I start to apply it to other people. So you definitely want to start working on getting out of truck driving by going back to school. Anton, I know you heard about that Muslim mayor and hand traffic induction. Yep, I know about him. Shout out to Mr. Lassite. If you ever worked in a plant, you know how those Super Bowl bets go. Yep, it'd be crazy. They got whole gambling rings inside of the plant. High Tolerance says, good morning, AD. I put time in at this plant and cats flipped quarters. Got on dice, sports, etc. Checks were gone before cat stepped foot out the door. Hey, and they got the lottery guy. When I was in a plant, they had the lottery guy. The lottery guy was a thing inside of the plant. Let me look at some of these cash apps, and then we will go from there because I want to make sure that I acknowledge everybody that supports the platform. ESDC in the building. Shout out to ESDC. I appreciate you. Mike that dude getting into it. Shout out to my dog, Mike that dude. Jonathan Turner. Shout out to Jonathan Turner. I appreciate you also for holding me down. And also Alec Fields. I appreciate you, Alec Fields. Big AI or Big Al. Shout out to Big Al. Says, good job, Anton. We appreciate all that you do. Thank you, Big Al. I appreciate you also. P. Shank. What up to P. Shank? I love you, P. Shank. If y'all have not already, again, make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description and get your tickets to the live show. I'm going to be in Atlanta, then Detroit. The details is pinned to the top of the chat. All right, let's go ahead and get into the thick of things in the show. So, young Dolph. Now, I understand that some people that are watching this show, including Gam Gam may not be familiar with young Dolph and Big Jook and Yo Gotti and all of these guys, or even what's happening in Memphis. I had some guys in Memphis or from Memphis actually come up here a couple weeks ago. I just ran into them at the bar. I don't know them, but I know them now because we had some good conversations at the bar or whatever. And they were saying that they was from Memphis. And so we was talking about how Detroit has changed and how it's evolved. And he was like, hey, man, I wish Memphis leadership would do this. I wish it would do this. I wish it would do that. And that got me to thinking, right? It got me to thinking because I always think about the opportunities that are in a depressed environment. And when cities start to fall apart, that's kind of the buying opportunity for people that are sharks. You know what I'm saying? When you see depressed environments, that's an opportunity for gentrification. But there has to be certain factors that play out in order for us to really be able to gentrify and make it, an area better, while at the same time, pushing out the riffraff. Which leads me to this conversation, right? So, yesterday, I get a bunch of emails from people like, oh man, the murderer or the person from Young Dolph, they got actual video and all of this stuff. And so I'm going to bring y'all up to speed. So before we get into the video, I'm going to tell you why this is important and why this hit is a thing. So, Young Dolph was an independent artist in Memphis, okay? Really great music from a hip-hop perspective. Beloved by the people and everybody. Everybody loved Paper Route Empire, which was the name of his record label. Again, he was independent. He wasn't interdependent on any record label, so on and so forth. Yo Gotti is another artist in Memphis. All right. Made a lot of money. Glorilla is signed to him. Several different people have success with Yo Gotti. The problem between the two is that although they had brief and limited interaction, it's long been rumored that there is a war, a gang war amongst so many different people that's happening in Memphis, but also between the two camps. Ultimately, young Dolph's life was taken when he went into a cookie shop, and those people have been arrested. But what we're discovering throughout this whole process is that Yo Gotti, who was also the rival rapper, who was incredibly successful, a millionaire himself, his big brother is the one that ordered the hit. Allegedly, that's what's being proposed inside of the courts. His big brother is the one that put a $100,000 hit on young Dolph's life. Big Jook himself also was killed late last year, earlier this year, okay? So it sounds like a web, but let me summarize it for you. Dolph, independent, killed by Yo Gotti's brother, who put a $100,000 hit on him. Yo Gotti is still out here running around in the streets doing his thing. And although he's presenting himself as a corporate businessman, it seems as though he is still in the streets. Together now? All right, so let's dig into it. All right, so this is the latest updates from the news over in Memphis as far as prosecutors taking care of business and doing the thing that they should be doing over there in Fulton County, Georgia. But prosecutors in Memphis is now having this trial, and they're discovering all of this information, and this is where we come to.
Topping your news leader at 4 today, explosive new allegations this afternoon about the murder of Adolph Thornton Jr., known as rapper Young Dolph. That trial got underway today in a Shelby County courtroom. Thanks for joining us, everyone. I'm Alex Coleman. April is on assignment. Justin Johnson, also known as Straight Drop, is accused of shooting Young Dolph outside a Memphis cookie shop almost 3 years ago. But today, prosecutors told the jury it was actually a man known as Big Jook who ordered the hit. They claim Big Jook was high up a record label, CMG, a rival of Young Dolph. Big Jook, who was the older brother of well-known rapper Yo Gotti, was killed earlier this year outside a Hickory Hill nightclub. WREG Shay Arthur has been in the courtroom all day and is live with the latest details. Shay, what have you learned?
Alex, I just stepped out of the courtroom just a short time ago. That testimony is still ongoing. It's really been going on this entire day in this highly anticipated trial that really so many, just not across Memphis, but across the country, have been following. Young Dolph, loved by so many here in the Bluff City. Security here at the court, very, very tight. There's extra police officers up inside there around the courtroom. You have to go through 2 metal detectors to actually get inside that courtroom. And the prosecution and the defense, they've been telling some very different stories about who is to blame here in the rapper's death.
Justin Johnson, one of the men accused of shooting Young Dolph outside a Memphis cookie shop, sat stoic in court. Shelby County prosecutor Paul Hagerman painted the picture of the day of the crime for the jury, who was brought in from out of Shelby County. Hagerman says Johnson, an aspiring rapper known as Straight Drop, shot Dolph along with a second man, Cornelius Smith. He says the shooting comes after a $100,000 hit was ordered by Big Jook, who was high up at CMG, a rival record label and the older brother of rapper Yo Gotti. The contract hit was arranged by a third man, Hernandez Govan. Investigators say Govan would seek out new talent for CMG and also provided drugs to Smith. The jury was shown the moments Young Dolph was killed outside Makita's Cookies. Hagerman said to Johnson and Smith the shooting was, quote, just business.
You see how that boy is shooting? He doing like this. Look how he's shooting. I'm going to show some more footage of this. But this is how he's shooting. That's Dolph's Corvette. All right. He had a signature look for all of his cars, which basically made him a target anywhere he went inside of the city, which I'm not even sure why he was still in Memphis. But that's Dolph's Corvette. And look how the dude is shooting into the window.
His Cookies. Hagerman said to Johnson and Smith the shooting was, quote, just business.
What we watch up here is so quick. And we watch it and we call it violence. That's a man with a family and with a life who's laying at the edge there in the yellow, riddled with bullets, dead. We watch that and we call it violence. For Cornelia Smith and for Justin Johnson, it was just business.
But Johnson's attorney says his client is innocent, saying there's two sides to every story, and Govan was using Johnson.
They like to exploit. They like to exploit young rappers. Like Mr. Johnson. He brings no skill to the table, but you're going to hear testimony about how he intended. It was his sole mission to get a 30 to 60% piece of Mr. Johnson.
Shelby County District Attorney Steve Mulroy was also.
That must have been a courthouse attorney. You going to jail. Listen, don't even fight them charges. Go ahead and plead out. If that's your argument, I can make a better argument than he could. If that was the argument, you going to jail, throw away the key, go ahead and get your soap. You bunking with Fleece Johnson tonight? I got you, big dog.
Also present, speaking to us about the trial finally happening nearly 3 years after the shooting.
Great anticipation. I mean, this is the culmination of a lot of years' work, and there's been a lot of work done by our staff at the DA's office and also by law enforcement to bring the people responsible for this tragic killing to justice, and that's what we're going to do this week.
And Alex, really, so far in the case today, beyond those explosive opening statements that we heard, those accusations there from the prosecutor, we also heard from the sister of young Dolph, along with one of his former security guards. Currently, right now, Cornelia Smith, he is the second man, along with Justin Johnson, accused of shooting young Dolph there in front of Makita's cookie store. He's currently under cross-examination by the defense. We'll hear from him tonight at 5 o'clock. I'm going to go back.
Let me share some other footage of this really quickly. This is some of the testimony from a guy named Cornelius Smith. Now, I know a Cornelius Smith. He's actually a really good guy, and he's an actor. It's unfortunate that this guy's name is Cornelius Smith also. But let's go through it.
Say, y'all.
This is them showing the footage and him describing what happened in the footage when they jump out the car. All right?
Yeah, that's us right there.
Stop it here.
It's me.
Can you stop it? All right. We're going to back up. I wanted to, back up a little bit. All right. First guy out of the car, who's that?
It's me.
That's you? Which one of the guns do you have?
I got the little Draco stab gun.
Okay, that's that semi-automatic weapon, is that right?
Yeah.
You ever shot that thing before?
Nah, I ain't never shot that.
Okay. You can proceed, Iris.
So the first person to get caught, let me say this, the first person to get caught is always the one that's going to get the most lenient sentence, because he the one that's going to turn a witness in order to get the conviction for everybody else. And this is why I tell you that we know who the killers and the dealers are inside of our communities. Why? Because all you got to do is solve for the first person. The first domino to fall, everybody else is going down too. The first person to get caught is going to tell on everybody else in order to save themselves. And this is why he's now testifying in court. Happens every time. Look at how he's
That's
shooting.
your Gap hoodie, is that right?
Yeah, it's me.
That's you. Who are you shooting at?
No.
All right, now back it up again.
It's like a child.
Miss Iris, if you would. Back it up for Justin getting out of the car. All right, who's the second person here that got out of the driver's side?
It's just.
He's got the smaller handgun, is that right?
Yeah, bad baseball, bad pro baseball.
You're firing this crazy thing. What you see? What are you feeling?
I won't feel nothing at the time, but I ain't gonna even let it. I won't feel nothing at the time. I was just, trying to get some money.
Trying to get some money? Bet you probably would have wasted on oxycodone and ecstasy.
Trying to do something.
You shot that gun a bunch?
Right in there?
Right then and there.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times that shot out.
Aiming for Dolph.
I ain't for Dolph.
Was he able to say anything to y'all, or was he able to run or get away at all?
I shot through the glass, so I wasn't close up on him. I was shooting through the glass.
Okay.
I saw him standing by the window. I just got out and started shooting.
All right. Proceed till Justin shoots. There with the handgun. Who's that?
It's just
All right. You proceed. All right, you stop right here. It's Dolph's brother, Marcus. Did you know that he shot back at y'all?
I ain't noticed until we pulled out. There was a bullet hole in my side window. And I told Jason, I'm like, man, I'm hit. He was like, I'm hit too. So I see I'm hit right here on my leg, and I see a bullet hole in my sweater. I said, damn, I'm hit. So we driving out, he was saying he was hit. I'm talking to him, making sure we on Rick, making sure he's straight. I'm like, you all right? He's like, yeah, I'm straight, I'm straight. But the bullet head went in my arm, it was a bullet in my back.
I'm gonna back up.
That's all pure adrenaline. The only reason that these dudes wasn't screaming in pain and stuff is 1,000% pure adrenaline. These is monsters. These is monsters in real life.
You and Justin here are running to the white Mercedes, is that right?
Right.
You get in what side of the car?
I get on the passenger side.
And Justin gets back on the driver's side?
Yeah, he get back on the driver's side.
Y'all get in the car. You can watch the rest of the video here. Did y'all see Marcus getting a second gun from his car?
Nah, but when we pulled out and I knew it was shots fired, I was finna shoot back, but there were too many cars coming and I ain't just want to hit no anybody, so I ain't shoot back.
Because Marcus was shooting at y'all as y'all were leaving from down here, is that right?
Yeah.
And you would be in the car at this point?
Yeah, we was in the car.
Looking backwards?
Yeah, I was looking back, but we had, like, how we
Ooh, that
driving.
Lincoln is sweet. Who is driving that stinking Lincoln back there? Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, I was looking back, but we had.
Oh, man, look at the stinking Lincoln. I mean, listen, we so used to this happening in the community no matter what. Whoever got that stinking Lincoln back there, first of all, I wouldn't even have pulled into the parking lot after I seen what I seen. But that stinking Lincoln, whoever driving a stinking Lincoln is on point. It is beautiful. That is one of the cars that is on my grill list. I will be adding that to my collection soon. Oh, wee. That Lincoln with the suicide doors. That's it right there. Oh, let me get back to the car. So, again, this is crazy. Let me play the rest of this video.
Yeah, like how we were driving, like how he was driving, he was all the way on the other side, but, you know, so I ain't want to just shoot back and hit nobody.
So the shots, all the shots that you fired,
he couldn't even run because his pants was falling down.
were the ones we saw right here with Dolph. Is that right?
Yeah.
Listen, this is what I know for sure. This is what I know for sure. It's unfortunate that this is happening in the community, but this is nothing new. And if you've ever grown up in the hood, then this is not something that I've been away from it for so long. Here, I'll give you all my final thoughts on this in a minute. Let me back up. Let me read some of the super chats, and then I'm going to give you all my thoughts on that. Pookie's friend Ray says, still can't believe his parents named him Adolf. Jook got murked outside of one of his family members' funerals. Tyler Banks says, I'm from the city. If you know, you know. Shout out to Flipper. That's Dolph. High Tolerance says, word is Makita got the heads up that they were rolling to the scene. This was devious on every angle. Anthony Boom says, he was in town for a turkey drive, giving back to his city. He was murdered days before Thanksgiving, came home to do something positive. Nope, don't do nothing positive. You need to stay out the hood. OB Dub Stretch says, Bag Chaser sold out for now. No, it's not sold out. It's available. Go to the middle tier. The Bags Chasers is right there. You think you special. No. Go to the tier that you're supposed to. The Bag Chasers is right there and it's available. Let me say this. First, if you make it out the hood, stay away from the hood. I'm going to read that shortly, Tax Smith. If you make it out the hood, stay out of the hood. Because guess what? Ain't nobody going to be there for your family. Ain't nobody going to raise your children. Ain't nobody going to console your wife. Ain't nobody going to fix your situation. I know that somebody said that he was back for a turkey drive. That's cool. Nobody cares anymore. Nobody cares. I got two different things that I want to say about this, and then I want to move on to the next conversation. We are the most evil, toxic, I'm not going to say the most evil and toxic ever, but we don't have no more moral compass. Think about it. Dolph got killed, and then the person that killed Dolph or ordered the hit on Dolph, Big Jook, which is Gotti's older brother, he then get killed outside of a funeral that he's going for another funeral for another family member. And it don't matter how much money that you get. We looking at this YSL trial, and they millionaires and running it up and have the opportunity to change the trajectory of their family lineage. And guess what? All money did for them was make them more monsters than they was before. That's all money did for them, was that it made them more of the monsters that they were because they never developed the character that came with it. So even when it comes to the reparations conversation, right? Because separate from whether or not I think you deserve it or not, or I think that black people deserve reparations or not, separate from that, let's say hypothetically that you got it. What do you think would happen? You think you would automatically become a better person? Even a word in the scripture says, be faithful over little and I will make you ruler over much, which means that you have to prove yourself and then work from greatness to greatness to greatness to greatness. And so when I see people that are bad managers of their money, when I see people that are clowns that exhibit clown behavior, that do bad things, you just gonna do more of it. When you get it, you just gonna be more of a menace to society. And no matter how much money that these guys made, no matter how rich they got, no matter how successful they were, we have a whole earth. We got a whole earth. We got a whole United States of America. You got a whole state that you can go. He can go to his side. You can go to your side. I don't even have to like you. But the one thing that I'm not going to do is I'm not going to disappear as far as be gone so that I can be an absentee follower. You telling me that they're warring over a city that most of the people in is poor, that we identify ourselves based on the place that we were born. So you, Memphis, you might as well change your name to Memphis then. You don't even know who came up with the name Memphis. Who named that city Memphis? Y'all are warring and y'all both got filthy rich, but then y'all still sitting there fighting with people that ain't got nothing, with people that's willing to kill you for less than $1,000. And I'm supposed to immerse myself in this environment as though I owe them something? Why would I do that? Why don't, with all of the resources and the money that we get, why we don't think? You smart enough and got the work ethic and got the talent to be able to get through it and get out of it, but you come back to it with no rhyme or reason of how it's going to affect you. I've seen people say stuff to me like, Anton, you weak, you a sucker because you walk around with security. Am I weak or am I wise? Anton, you spend a lot of money. Yeah, I do. You're right. Because it only takes one knucklehead, one opportunity to do the wrong thing, trying to come up. And I plan on making all of this money so that I can spend it and be here forever. Why would I put myself in harm's way just to prove to people that don't have anything that I'm still one of them? They still not going to see you as one of them. They still can't relate to you. They still not rocking with you. The mindset in the culture is what's so bad. If you can change the mindset, if you can change, because you don't have to be evil just because you ain't got nothing. You don't have to be stupid just because you poor. We have the greatest opportunities of anybody in history that came before us, and we waste it. We throw our lives away like we can respawn. This is not a video game. This is not Call of Duty. You can't come back from this. You can't get out of jail. This ain't no prison break movie. You can't break out of prison. You're going to be in there getting taken advantage of for the rest of your life. Your whole life, the rest of your life. You're going to have to keep it real around a bunch of hard legs, and then you die. That's it. Either somebody comes back and kill you, or they're going to get you and arrest you first. That's the end. And then you know what happens after that? Because we don't even talk about what happens after that. You're going to bust hell wide open right after that. So you poor, you live your life poor. You got rats and roaches around you going up these pissy stairs in these hallways. Then you commit a crime, and then you got to hope that somebody don't kill you before you get arrested. And when you get arrested, you got to hope that you don't get killed in prison. And it's a strong possibility that you're going to be sassy in there because you're going to spend the rest of your life in there. So it ain't going to matter anyway. So now you got a boyfriend in prison, or you got boyfriends, or you somebody else's girlfriend in prison. And then you die, and then you bust hell wide open. That ain't no life to live to me. That ain't no life to live. You got to sit there in a courtroom and put your faith in a court-appointed attorney and a jury of people. Now, your fate is going to be decided by them, and whether or not you can get up at the time that you want to get up and go outside and play basketball and go and get some hoes, or, crash out and then come back and fix it the next day or whatever. Your whole life is going to be controlled, and you're going to be told what to do, what you can eat, when you can do it, and how often you can do it. And if you go to bed that night and your boyfriend decides that he want to pull you off of that top bunk, of whether or not he going to make you a bottom. What kind of life is that? What type of life is that to live? He going to wake up in the middle of the night on rock hard, and he going to be like, man, going to look up. Hey, come on off this top bench. Come here, right there. Why you looking at me? He gonna make you his wife. You gotta fight for your virginity. You gotta fight for your virginity. These guys that be sitting on these live streams talking about how real. Oh, Anton don't know what he talking about. It's real in the field. It's hard in these. Boy, I've been to the prisons. I haven't. No, thank you. Listen, I'm gonna let you take that strike. You got it. You right. I'm gonna take your word for it. You was real in the field. You held it down like a real one when you was in prison. Man, that ain't no badge of honor to me. That don't make you cool because, oh man, listen, I did time with the real ones. I did a dime. I got on early behavior. It was Gavin Newsom let me out of prison. You gotta beg another man for your freedom. I can get up and walk around and do whatever I want to do. I can go eat what I want to eat. I can go do what I want to do. I can go jog in the rain if I want to. Whatever I feel like I can do. You couldn't. You had to spend 10 years of your life with your kids missing you and not knowing who their daddy is, and your baby mama or your wife was getting monster mashed while you was locked down running for your life inside a prison trying to protect yourself. That is no life to live. Look, man, it's better opportunities, it's more out here, it's greater things than being from the hood. It's greater things than saying I'm from the west side of Memphis, or I'm from the east side of Detroit, I'm from the south side of Chicago, or I'm over here in Oakland laying it down. The one thing that I'm going to tell you to do is do not go to jail and don't break the law. You can come back from anything. You can lose your money. If you lose your woman, if you can lose whatever it is, lose your car, repossession, lose your house, you can get another one. You can get another car, another house, another chick. You can get some more kids if you want to. You can go and get another job and go get another dollar, but you can't get another life. There is no replacement for your life. Life is precious. It is so precious. It is so awesome. It is so beautiful. We need a different culture. You need a different mindset. No matter what, I can lose everything today. I can go and get it back tomorrow. You know why? Because I got the freedom to do so. It's not worth it, man. It's not worth it. I know we glorify these lifestyles and these rappers and stuff, but most of these dudes die early. Most of these people die early. That's my take on it. Shout out to my girl, Miss Carrie Baby, in the building. Let me get a round of applause for her. Let me read some of these super chats and then we're going to move on with the show. Tax Smith says, hey, yo, this man really unalived. Another black man in cold blood has slept like a baby. Maybe it's white people holding us down. Oh, yeah, exactly. Ain't got nobody to blame but themselves. Cultivator in the building says, I met Dolph's family last year when they came to my house with friends. You could tell he had great leadership skills just from observation. To think that we're robbed of him is sick. No, leadership skills would be to remove myself from that environment in the first place. But listen, that's just me. That's just me. I look at it a little different. I don't pedestalize these people. Jerome D says, Anton, it's hard for people like Dolph not to I guess you meant to say back to the place he was raised. Is sad. Yo, Gotti is behind it all. Oh, that's the other thing that I want to say. But I'll save that for the Anton Daniels channel because I got another take that I want to say. I got a little bit off track because I got so passionate about y'all going to jail and getting pulled off the top bunk. Seminole 2014 says apparently one of the shooters has a daughter and it was her birthday that day. Yeah, I heard about that too. Instead of celebrating his daughter's B-Day though, he taking hits for money. JB says, big ups to you and your fam. Anton, thank you, my friend. Tax Smith says, my brother went to prison when we were young, and when he got out, he was still the same person. His life is still in there. That was enough for me. Charles Freeman says, good morning, 80 in the Millionaire Morning Show. The likes is looking low, and we need the channel at 300,000 by the end of the month. Okay, talk your talk then, big dog. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Hey, stay out of jail, man. Stay out of jail. Let me go over to the next thing. So let's talk about New York. All right, New York's mayor's office, they say has been compromised. Hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's rock.
This appears to be a dramatic expansion of the investigation into donations made to the mayor's campaign and contacts with foreign governments.
Political reporter Marcia Kramer has some new information from her sources tonight, and she is here now with the latest. Marcia.
Well, Christina Maurice, we already knew that the feds were scrutinizing donations made to Mayor Adams from people connected to the Turkish government. But sources tell me that during the summer, agents served subpoenas seeking information on the relationship that the mayor had with the governments of 5 other countries. Tonight, he seems defiant.
We are not going to surrender our city. And let me tell you, folks, when you fight on behalf of New York, things happen. But I'm going to fight for this city just as I fought for this city when I was a police officer.
Mayor Adams at a town hall in the Bronx tonight in what appeared to be a reference to the latest details of an expanding investigation into his dealing with foreign governments. People with knowledge of the situation tell CBS News New York that the feds delivered a new round of subpoenas to Adams' lawyer this summer seeking information.
Hey, no matter how many town halls and rallies that you have, it doesn't change anything. No matter how many town halls and rallies that you have, they coming for him. The feds is on Eric Adams, and they're basically coming from every angle, and they're starting to swamp him. First, they getting everybody around him, and then eventually it's going to close on him. Eric Adams is acting just like a rapper. Eric Adams is running his office like Diddy was running his empire minus the freak-offs. I think that they're going to arrest Eric Adams eventually.
Related to the mayor's dealings with Israel, China, Qatar, South Korea, and Uzbekistan. Sources say it's unclear what the feds were seeking, but it is believed to be an outgrowth of a probe that began last November. That investigation, which began with the raid on the home of its chief fundraiser, Brianna Suggs, is reportedly looking into whether the campaign got illegal donations in exchange for pressuring the fire department to approve a new Turkish consulate in Manhattan, despite safety concerns. After that raid, the mayor bowed out of a high-level White House meeting on the migrant crisis to rush back to New York. At that time, the mayor insisted he had done nothing wrong.
I feel extremely comfortable about how I comply with rules and procedures.
Asked about the latest round of subpoenas, Deputy Mayor Fabian Levy issued a statement saying, quote, "We've been asked not to comment on the content of subpoenas, but as we have repeatedly said, we will continue to fully comply with any law enforcement inquiry." Now, as part of the Turkey probe, the feds have examined free flights and upgrades that the mayor received on Turkish Airlines. Sources say the July subpoenas also sought additional information about the mayor's Turkish contacts. A spokesman for the U.S. Attorney's Office declined to comment. Guys.
So everybody around him is falling. All of his top aides, everybody is getting raided. He's tied to multiple different governments and campaign funds and pay for play and favors and all of this stuff. And always the go-to, similar to Tiffany Henyard, the go-to is always, well, they after me because I'm doing the right thing for the city. The go-to is always, well, they're after me because I'm fighting for you guys and I'm fighting for New Yorkers, so I need your support. So wait a minute. Let me just try to figure this out, because I'm starting to put the pieces together and the puzzle is starting to make sense. And he used to be making phone calls to the Biden administration trying to tell them what it is that he needed in New York, and Biden wouldn't even answer his phone call. Wouldn't even answer his phone call. Wouldn't even acknowledge Eric Adams. Eric Adams pulled up to the White House. Now think about this. You're in the most powerful city in the United States of America. New York. Over 8 million people inside of New York. Hundreds of billions of dollars in the budget. The highest tax city generates so much revenue for the federal government. And you can't even get a phone call with Biden. You can't get a phone call with Kamala Harris. They don't want your endorsement. They're not interested in talking to you. They don't want to kick it with you. I wonder why. They said, oh, we'll talk to Oprah. We ain't talking to Eric. We'll kick it with Tracy Ellis Ross. We ain't talking to Eric. We'll talk to Meryl Streep. We cool with that. We ain't thinking about, we don't, hey, you over there, we don't need your endorsement. We good on you. Can't get a phone call, can't get a letter through. Emails is blocked. They blocked him like a chick that no longer want to talk to a dude that done did her dirty. Can't get a phone call through to the White House, and you are the most powerful mayor managing the biggest budget and the largest demographic of people in the city, in the state, in the country, possibly even in the world. Here's Andrew Cuomo, and they were having a conversation about how corrupt and how the mayor's office has been compromised, and you can see the web. You can see the web of people that start, even the lawyer resigned and said, I don't want to even be a part of this. I don't even want to defend this. I don't even want to be associated with what's going on in this administration.
Is it me, or does it seem that the DOJ and the FBI are raiding everybody in a way that we have never seen before?
Well, Chris, I would absolutely agree with you that this is relatively unprecedented for a police commissioner and so many in his inner circle to be under investigation. And you pointed out correctly that the second police commissioner in the last 3 years appointed by Mayor Adams just resigned. And that led us to where we are now with Commissioner Donlin. Now, Chris, if I can just take it down really quickly to the micro level, and you and I had spoken before. I know Tommy Donlin personally. I've worked with him in some of the most austere and inhospitable places across the globe on terrorism investigations. He's a man of probity and character. The questions here is, what was the search for? I don't have any inside information. I certainly read and hear things through channels and through open source. But I can tell you this, and trust me on this. I've written about it and I've spoke to many outlets about Tommy Donlin. I don't sense that this guy could even spell corruption and could be imbued with malfeasance or moral turpitude. This is a straight shooter, and I think that's why he was selected by Mayor Adams. Now, we got to wait till the dust settles. We know there's an investigation ongoing. We do know this. It has nothing to do with any of his actions at the NYPD, and I am reasonably confident he is cooperating fully with the feds on this investigation.
Okay, so then I still have, thank you very much for that, by the way, Jimmy. That is of special gift status to the audience because you actually know who we're talking about. So, and you're an amazing judge of character. You're a public servant 5 times over. So we respect your take. Stu, now it makes even less sense. Because if this guy is so stand-up, why would they treat him like this? And if he's such a stand-up guy, why would it have ever gotten to this point? Where it could have been a phone call from a guy with extended family. At worst, it could have been a subpoena. Why this way?
Well, Chris, I think one of the things that we are hearing is this potential excuse that some 20 years ago he may have had access or possession of classified documents, and now all of a sudden the FBI wakes up and executes this search warrant. First of all, and my hat's off to Jim Gagliano, one of the most respected agents that I formerly recall in New York. And so kudos to him, having him as a guest. And I defer to him. But let me just tell you, and I think Jim would agree, a veteran of the NYO office, they would pick up the phone knowing that he's interviewing to become the next commissioner of the New York Police Department and give him a heads up and say, hey, Tom, we understand we have some information. You may have some documents you may have had for 20 years. Come back and bring them in. We don't want to upset and disrupt your potential doing. But with that being said, the soundbite that is being sent out, or the narrative, I don't believe, and why I don't believe it is, quite frankly, and I think Jim touched upon this, the only thing you get when the FBI comes knocking on your door in connection with a search warrant is the search warrant itself. It does not give you any insight into the affidavit of what the affiant says there is probable cause to believe that the fruits of criminal activity is in your house. It may give an addendum, a schedule of A through Z of what they're looking for, but it does not necessarily tell you what you may have done or what laws you may have violated. And so I don't necessarily agree or believe the excuse that this has to do with something 20 years ago. Also, the legalities of the statute of limitations, in my opinion, would have long since run. I do believe that the mayor's office has been compromised.
Hit a like for the algorithm.
There may have been some wiretap or some texting or some emails that the FBI intercepted in connection with the recruiting of this individual, and that is why the urgency of going out and executing this search warrant.
Well, that is certainly another layer of intrigue, but I got to tell you, it leaves us in the same place. We've never seen anything like this before, and again, it's a different standard. No one's above the law. But at the top levels, New York City has been frozen for months. Nobody can talk about anything with anybody now. And it's not because they're all mobsters. It's because once the feds are investigating you, everybody's paralyzed. So I hope they can justify it, because this is a period of acute examination of our institutions. And this is a big one. Hey,
I believe that Eric Adams is dirty. I don't believe that he's just been above board the entire time. My impression of this situation is most politicians are dirty. I think that most politicians are giving out favors. And I don't even understand why people wind up becoming politicians in the first place, except for to make a power play. One of my favorite series of all time was the Netflix series with Kevin Spacey. And I forgot what the name of it is. I know that the people in the chat is going to remind me of what that name is. But that's one of my favorite series of all time. And I think that Kevin Spacey did a great job on that. I wish he wouldn't have been canceled for talking to younger little boys. But That is one of my favorite series of all time because Kevin Spacey is a great actor. And it showed you the power dynamics, the real power dynamics in politics and why people got into politics in the first place, because it is a true power play, which then ultimately translates into money. No president has never gotten rich. Bernie Sanders is rich, for God's sake. House of Cards. Shout out to the chat. House of Cards. Bernie Sanders got rich. They all write books. They all get rich. We don't know whether or not they controlling this over here or this over there. And especially in New York, it seems like all of the cards are falling. I mean, from rappers to politicians, everybody is falling. Anybody that's associated with anybody, I don't even know why anybody want to take pictures with somebody anymore. You know, they resurfacing old pictures of Diddy and Eric Adams giving the key to the city to Diddy and all of this stuff, and Kamala Harris and Diddy. And so I haven't reported on it because I don't think that it's tied. I don't believe, until you prove to me otherwise, that Kamala Harris was associated with Diddy just because she did an interview or somebody like that. No, I don't believe that. I believe something completely different. However, my point is that optics is playing just as much of a role as your inner circle. And if your inner circle is dirty and you are the head of that inner circle, then you are now implicated. And I don't believe that that person is doing it alone. I think that they need your permission in order to do so. And so the fact that everybody in New York and all of the people in these legislative branches and the mayor and the commissioner, they getting their house raided, and the aides and the deputies and all of these people that surround them, everybody is dirty. Everybody getting their house raided. Come on, man. Come on, bro. Come on. I'm just waiting for the day that they arrest Eric Adams, and then I want y'all to say it's because he's a black man. You know what I'm saying? Let me go ahead and read a super chat, and then we're going to continue on with the show. Shout out to Mayman Chino. Mayman Chino says, Brother Anton Diddy was in cahoots with the mayor. Him and his constituents were at those parties in NYC. There were high-powered people doing things that they're trying to cover up. Well, I don't know that. It doesn't mean that it's not true. But I don't know that for sure. And so I never assume. All I can do is give my opinion, but at the same time, I'm waiting for the evidence to drop. And if he was associated, then we'll find that out, hopefully. And Diddy, hopefully, they say he's not eating. We'll get there. Let's go over to Chicago, ladies and gentlemen. Chicago gangs is taking on a migrant crisis. But before that, let me give you a little bit of a summary of what's happening over there. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications.
There is widespread evidence the vast majority of migrants coming to the United States do.
What? These places need to fix the audio. I'll come back to this one. Let me do a whole nother one. Let's go into this one.
A violent Venezuelan gang called Tren de Aragua, or TDA, has set up shop in New York City, using migrant shelters as a base for their operations. The New York Police Department says that the gang is responsible for thefts at high-end stores and ride-by robberies and scooters. They're also selling something called 2C, or pink cocaine, which is a drug that's becoming more and more prevalent. TDA has also been linked to the shooting of 2 NYPD police officers. And New York isn't the only city dealing with TDA. From Chicago to Denver to New York City, there have been dozens of arrests that have been linked to the group. The Department of Homeland Security official told the New York Times that federal officials were, quote, working on more than 100 investigations linked to the gang at one point this year. And, quote, officers nationwide have made more than 50 arrests related to the gang. In Aurora, Colorado, there's still ongoing debate as to whether the gang was responsible for taking over an apartment building in a now viral video. Gangbangers can be seen roaming the halls with guns and seemingly breaking into apartments. This video, by the way, went so viral that even Donald Trump took notice of it. Here's what he said at the debate.
What's happening? You see what's happening with towns throughout the United States. You look at Springfield, Ohio, Aurora in Colorado. They are taking over the towns. They're taking over buildings. They're going in violently. These are the people that she and Biden led into our country.
Okay, so we're joined right now by somebody who used to be in a gang in Chicago, who went to prison for 20 years for murder, and he thinks that TDA is such a problem in the city that he fears an all-out turf war is about to break out between the TDA and local Southside gangs. Tyrone Muhammad is with us. He's now part of a group called Ex-Cons for Community and Social Change, Ex-Cons for Trump. Thank you so much for joining us. So why do you believe that a turf war might be imminent?
What you have to understand, thanks for having me, Jesse. What you have to understand is that Chicago gang culture is not like what it used to be, where during the Clinton 1994 crime bill, you removed men who actually controlled the streets that was rather respectful to his neighbors as well, if that's not oxymoronic, right? Rather respectful and also had a link to the communities that they lived or was involved with. Now you have a situation where we have now cliques, crews, and sets that don't follow certain guidelines and structures that were set by founding gang leaders and founding gang literature, right? So what happens is now you
hold on. Let me stop that real quick. I want to grasp all of the standards that we've set as a result of gangs. Now, I know that we're talking about the migrant crisis. However, I want to address what he's saying about this whole gang culture thing that we celebrate so much. All right. So what he's saying is the gangsters of yesteryear had higher standards than the gangs of today. Let me say that again for the people in the back. What he's saying is that, hey, listen, man, we did our dirt. We ran in the streets. We took care of business, but we didn't hurt no women and children, or you couldn't sell to your neighbors, or we would at least give back to the community, or we did this, we did turkey drafts. Now, let's consider that, okay? Let's take that in for a minute. All right, let's consider that. Let's say that is true. For me, it's still no mas. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. No mas. I still think that the culture begat worse culture, and you can't start off with something negative and think that you're going to make a positive out of it. And I think that this is all derived from mob culture. It comes from the mafia. The mafia had the same thing. The mafia has standards. Oh, we do this, we don't do that. But if you watch any mafia movie, if you've watched Casino, if you've watched Goodfellas, if you've watched The Godfather, eventually it devolved into being worse and worse and worse because it was all derived from something that was negative in the first place. And so negative can't beget more positive. It begets more negative. Right? It doesn't translate into anything positive. It translates to anything that. Now, I'm not saying that this man in particular is glorifying it. He's just telling you the way that it is. Okay? I'm giving my opinion based off of the culture. He's telling you why or what it used to be like in gang culture. He's not glorifying it. He's not justifying it. He's just telling you that this is the way that it used to be. But for me, it's all bad. It's all bad, because if you're doing something wrong, you're doing something illegal, it's just bad. It's nothing good that can come from it. But that's just my opinion. But let him continue to cook.
You get these new gangs, these new terrorists. I call them terrorists because the very fact that you can allow people to cross our borders and potentially harm American citizens that go unchecked with no regulation and then placed in communities that's already disinvested and violated by the policies of this current administration in Chicago and big cities and throughout this country is a violation of democracy and really treason. And with that being said, now these young men don't live by those same codes. And these guys come in, they blend in with the Puerto Ricans, the Mexicans, and other Latin Americans, and they're integrating into their gang culture. And what they're doing is starting to set up in our various neighborhoods, taking
right.
over abandoned buildings, taking boards down, making those buildings their own, and then setting up outside of the shelters that they're in to pretty much as a way of tagging those blocks and communities to say, hey, this is our turf. And before long, if we don't get in front of this, there will be a powder keg of bloodshed. Because there's already a disconnect in terms of culture and language.
So Tyrone, real quick, we have about 30 seconds. What are you and your organization? What are the community? What can they do to fight back against this?
Well, hold on. Let's not skip past that. He's 100% right. I can't sit here and say that he didn't say anything that was 100% right. He said, listen, you letting this stuff come into this country is treason. Eventually, what's going to happen is it's going to translate into something way worse than you ever would have thought it was going to be. Because when you allow for it to happen, all you did was validate this existence, and now they're setting up shop, and you're never going to be able to get rid of it. So then what it's going to translate into is us fighting more wars, a war on American soil, a war against this gang, a war against that gang. They've recruited, they've gotten bigger. Now they're infested in the community. And instead of us saying, hey, we need to root it out completely, we need to negotiate with them, and we need to have better police relationships, and we need to have a conversation and fix it and do this and do that and blah, 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 blah. And that's what it then turns into. It turns into the worst thing ever. And then we don't want to uproot it because we say, well, they had kids, and what about the children? No. It should have never been here in the first place, and that's why you got to root it out. It should have never even crossed in here in the first place. So now what happens is it's similar to people that came over here illegally and then they had children. And they called them, I forgot what they call them. But people that came over here illegally, for example, and then they've been here for years. And then people say, well, but I've been here for 20 years illegally. And I hate to put it like that. I hate to summarize it by saying and reducing it down to, well, you know, you should have never been over here in the first place. Let me ask you a question. Let's say that I've read stories of people that committed some of the most heinous crimes ever. Rapists, murderers, hitmen. And then they move over to a different state somehow from the 70s, and they change their name, and they 80 and they 90 years old now, and somehow, some way, some little loose end, and something that he said, or somebody was looking him out to find out if he was his father or not, or they took on the identity of a dead person, and they say, oh man, yeah, anchor babies. And they go over there and they take on the identity of a dead person. And then somehow the FBI discover them 40 and 50 years later. But that person has got a different life. He's got a new family. He's got children. He's got all of this. Guess what they do? Arrest him, take him back, and they charge him for the thing that he did 40 to 50 years ago. They don't care if he's got a new life. They don't care that he's found a wife. They don't care that he's working under a different person's name. They don't care if he's gotten children now. You know why? Because he still has to be held accountable for the thing that he did 50 years ago in somebody's life that he took. And so then you start to get people that feel sorry. Oh, but he's actually an upstanding citizen now. Now you caught between the tail of two places because you allowed this thing to happen and it proliferated in your culture and in your society. And now it's pulling on your heartstrings because you don't know what to do when you've known this person and you start to become acquainted with them and you're close to them. So you'll have people that over here illegally, and they crossed over to the border because they wanted a new life. That's what they're going to tell you. But they came over here illegally. They didn't do it legally. They came over there, had children or whatever. And so now when they get caught up by ICE, oh, but no, I got children here. You was never supposed to be here in the first place. And that's the thing that we wrangle with.
Well, we've been on the ground since the beginning. We've been fighting forcefully, letting the Democratic Party and the policy makers in this Chicago know that it is unacceptable for them to continue to violate our communities. And as black men, returning citizens who've actually had a hand in the terroristic effect of violence in these communities, we're on the front line now saying, hey, we have to protect our communities and our neighborhoods and our blocks.
I redid that video. I want to go back to that original video that I was talking about. Let's see if I can get it popping.
There is widespread evidence the vast majority.
See that? We work in real time over here. We work in real time.
Of migrants coming to the United States do so for the same reason as this Ecuadorian man we met in New York City. A dangerous situation at home and the hope of work and security here. And while the numbers of those arriving at our southern border has dropped dramatically, there are growing concerns about those coming as part of the Biden administration's parole program, bringing those from 4 countries here by plane.
What? Maybe I missed something. Did I mishear that? Because it looked like they was getting on a private plane to me.
Dropped dramatically. There are growing concerns about those coming as part of the Biden administration's parole program, bringing those from 4 countries here by plane. U.S. Customs and Border Patrol data show more than 530,000 migrants have taken part.
I don't understand. What is a CHNB parole program? Okay, give me a second. Let me do a little bit of research. This is all new to me. I'm sorry. Give me a second. I'm just trying to figure it out. Biden administration's parole program for Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelans. What? Did y'all know about this? Am I the only person that was unfamiliar with what was going on? Okay, hold on. Let me play this, and then we're going to go from there.
That includes more than 117,000 from Venezuela, a country with which the United States has no diplomatic relationship, which means background information about them or their prior criminal history is hard to come by.
It makes it so easy for this TDA Venezuela gang that's so treacherous to come to the United States and set up bases. There are bases in New York and other states across the country, and now including even in the state of Texas.
The New York Times reporting members of Tren de Aragua are living and recruiting new members inside the city's migrant shelters. In Chicago, local media is reporting on gang turf wars, a phenomenon predicted by a former border chief in Texas.
But what happens when they start going head to head to gangs like MS-13 that are just as powerful than what you have? You have a big mess. You have gangs fighting gangs.
When the black gangs get fed up with the illegalities and the criminal activity of these migrants or non-citizens, the city of Chicago is going to go up in smoke.
The city of Chicago has spent more than $400 million on migrants over the last few years.
Nope, 700. I've done my research. It's 700 million plus.
Local residents there and elsewhere are starting to become more vocal at city council meetings, arguing that money would be better spent on low-income residents who are citizens of the United States.
So let me look this up. Let me show y'all what I pulled up. So this is some insight. So on January 5th, 2023, so while Kamala Harris was sitting there pretending like Trump killed some kind of border security bill to prevent people from coming over here illegally, and this is why you got to do your research. The Biden administration, which includes Kamala Harris, listen, she's lying to you. And this is why you need people that actually can do some research. Because see, I hear something and I got to go and look it up. It's the same thing when I do Bible study. When I do Bible study, I got to go and I see a word and it don't make sense and I'm trying to understand how it's relevant to what we're talking about or what I've been reading. I got to pull out the concordance. I got to start doing some research. I got to look at the verses before it and after it and reference the stories before it so I can understand why that's relevant in this particular thing. It could take one word and I'm going down a rabbit hole. Biden administration announced its intent to provide safe and orderly pathways to the United States. So coming over here legally is not a safe and orderly pathway. Okay. For up to 30,000 nationals, which we already know that is in the millions now, 30,000 nationals of Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela. The new program, which they haven't stopped, and they've been flying people over here, formerly known as Process for Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelans, that's what the CHNV stands for. I didn't know that. Allows certain people from these 4 countries who have a sponsor in the U.S., and who pass a background check, nonsense, to come to the U.S. for a period of 2 years, live and work lawfully using a legal mechanism known as humanitarian parole. So they did the same thing that rich people do with finances. They found a loophole. So now they still doing the same thing, but instead of just letting them walk over through the borders, what they're doing is they're flying them over here and they using this loophole, and they saying that they've closed off the borders and migration into the country, which now we don't even know how many really is over here. So are they going to go back after 2 years? And why is it more than 500,000 estimated and not just in the 30,000? The creation of this new parole program, however, that's a key word, remember this, was coupled with restricted access to asylum at the U.S.-Mexico border for migrants from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela. Starting in January 2023, the government of Mexico agreed to allow the U.S. to expel up to 30,000 migrants from countries to Mexico each month, preventing them from requesting asylum under the U.S. immigration law. With the expiration of Title 42 order in May 2023, the U.S. announced it would formally deport some migrants from these countries to Mexico instead of their home countries. What is humanitarian parole? The Immigration and Nationality Act, did y'all know about that? I didn't know about the INA, grants DHS the discretion to temporarily, Department of Homeland Security is what DHS stands for, to temporarily allow certain non-U.S. citizens to enter or remain in the United States if they apply for admission, but lack any legal basis for admission. Individuals who enter the United States under these conditions are granted parole. Humanitarian roles does not provide any permanent pathway to remain in the United States and can be revoked or not renewed should the Department of Homeland Security decide that it no longer warranted or if the beneficiary violates the conditions of the parole. A person of the United States on parole may apply for work authorization during their period or their authorized stay. Department of Homeland Security may grant parole to someone if there are urgent, humanitarian, or significant public benefit reasons for doing so. The INA does not define what constitutes an urgent humanitarian or significant public benefit reason, but USCIS states that an urgent humanitarian reason might include protection against targeted or individualized harm. So what this is basically telling you is that they have this system set up for humanitarian parole, but there are no requirements or no baseline that they can qualify whether you should or you shouldn't be in the United States of America. It's all left up to the discretion of the Department of Homeland Security, which we know is corrupt. Mayorkas, anybody? So it's left up to their own reasoning. It's up to them. The INA, which is the Immigration and Nationality Act, does not define what constitutes an urgent humanitarian or significant public benefit reason. In creating the CHNB, humanitarian parole program, so when they start getting heat for too many migrants coming over into the millions, the Biden administration, and this is according to the American Immigration Council.org, the Biden administration invoked both grounds for parole, arguing that the programs provide a significant public benefit for the United States by reducing the unauthorized entries along our southwest border while addressing the humanitarian reasons causing people to flee those 4 countries. So what this is saying, in short, for us C students over here, is that they created this program in the beginning of 2023, and no visibility, no publicity was given to it whatsoever. I just found this on a whim. All right. What this is basically telling you is that the Biden administration, to solve for all of the visibility that came from people coming in here illegally on our southern border, created the CHNV Humanitarian Parole Program, which none of the voters know anything about. We don't get these discussed at any of the debates. None of the people that are interviewing these people ask these questions. Certainly ain't going to get this question asked from anybody in the audience or Oprah Winfrey. They created this program to create relief at the border so that they don't get visibility of people coming in here illegally, but they still got people from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela coming over here. So now it all makes sense. When we ask questions and I say, man, how did they get over here? How did they end up in Springfield, Ohio? Why would they pick Springfield, Ohio? Why would they pick Aurora? Why would they pick some small dying mining town in Pennsylvania to ship a bunch of Haitians over to, a bunch of Venezuelans over there? How are they just ended up in different parts of the country? Because they want to 100% blame it on Governor Wheelchair down there in Texas. Governor Wheelchair is just sharing the love because they couldn't effectively stop him when they sued him from preventing people from coming over the Texas border. So now what they're doing is they flying them into these different places, and they're doing it under the cloak of the humanitarian parole program, so they can't then be prosecuted or be held accountable for it, but it was never promoted to the general public, and so y'all don't know what's really going on. And so when you see these people arrive in Springfield, Ohio, and you start to see them arrive in Aurora, and then you got Kamala Harris sitting there saying, well, it's all Donald Trump's fault because he didn't sign the bill at the end of 2023 when this was created in the beginning of 2023. January 5th, 2023, the Biden administration announced its intent to provide safe and orderly pathways to the United States of America. Then they talked about a bipartisan agreement at the end of 2023 when we already had over 15 million illegal migrants cross over into the border. And so now they want to set this on the lap of Donald Trump, but this is how you know Democrats are dirty. They dirty. When these people just arrive and she sit there and say, I can't believe that they're demonizing these people in Springfield, Ohio. They're not eating cats and geese. It's because they sent them there. And the reason that she won't talk about it and why none of these reporters have the competence, because maybe they just don't know. They wake up, drink their Cheerios, eat their Cheerios, drink the milk that's left over, go into work, and then go based off of the script that somebody asked. But nobody is willing to actually do the research to ask the pertinent questions, yet you see black people continue to vote based off of identity politics out of ignorance because they don't even know what they're getting. They don't even know that they're being flew under this act right here that is basically left up to the federal government to determine whether or not your crisis or your humanitarian crisis, they determine what a crisis is for you. No vetting, no background checks, just jump on a plane, come over here, you go to Springfield, you go to Aurora, you go to Pennsylvania, you go to Detroit, you go to Chicago, you go to New York, and this is what we're going to do. See how we had to go down a rabbit hole? This is why this is the greatest morning show. Tell your grandmother to tune in so she can get this work. Tell your simp daddy to tune in so they can get this work. Show this. I'm going to clip this up for y'all. I'll drop it in a couple days. And then send this to your friends and family and tell them Anton did the research so you don't have to. The election is what, 43, 42 days away, 44 days away? Maybe you can become more informed as to what's really going on in your neighborhood. Why they just so happen to show up and they can't even speak no English. They just popped up. 20,000 people just popped up over in Springfield, Ohio overnight in less than a year. They had a population of 39,000. Now they got 21,000 extra people in there, and their schools and their hospitals is overwhelmed, and we don't know nothing. It just so happened to happen. I've been asking this question for a long time. Man, how is they getting over here? What exactly pathway did they take? How did they travel all the way up through Nashville and Georgia. Go and send this to your grandmother. Tell your grandmother that she needs to subscribe to the Millionaire Morning Show, because we're no longer going to be a part of the Democratic plantation. We don't just go based off of what the news say. We take what they say into consideration. They do something, they trigger something that's in our brain. I got to start doing my research. I start going down this dark path. And that's how I left the Democratic Party. That's exactly why I left the Democratic Party, because you can't continue to tell me that it's raining outside, but you pissing on my head. You're not going to keep on telling me that I just need to align with something based off of that Democratic Party. You know, I was doing a street interview yesterday. It was happenstance. It just so happened to run it. A guy noticed me. I dropped it on the Anton Daniels channel this morning. And he said, I like Kamala Harris because she's a nice person. And I seen the comments this morning and people was like, nice where? What's nice about her? Y'all better wake up. Better wake up. Better wake the piss up. They coming for you. They coming for you. They're coming for you. They coming for your jobs, for your families, for your opportunities, for your homes. The places that you called the hood, they taking that over and they going to rebuild that up. One part of the hood is going to be headquarters for the gangs. The other part of the hood is going to be an opportunity zone for them to continue to buy houses. Wake up. Keep on telling me that I'm off. Anton, you off. You should just stay Democrat. No, we not just staying Democrat. We going to do our research, and we got to go with the person that's the best for the country. Smooth Artist says we got to deport the illegals and save the United States. They already here. They done flooded it. Dog, they got 21 million people here. They flooding this whole country with it so that it's more difficult for you to do it. Wake up. Jamil says, so this is why the numbers are falling coming across the board in the land. Now they just flying them in. Lucy, you have some explaining to do. Wake up. Tell your wife, hey, baby, listen. The facts is the facts. The facts is the facts. Miss Crow T. Shetty says, thanks for this info, AD, best morning show on earth. Tell Gam Gam. Tell your grandma to come and tune in. P. Shank says, what the hell, Biden admin taxpayers? I'm so annoyed. And they flying them in on your dime. Rob says, flying them in, JD Vance last month. Resurrect Men's says, Biden-Harris used EOs to allow migrants from 16 countries into the country under the TPS program that didn't require bipartisanship, just Biden's signature. Let me see these cash apps real quick. I got to make sure that y'all good on this. Give me a second. Lucifer says, Dolph was a good dude. Forget them haters. Shout out to Lucifer. I appreciate you for the cash app. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Y'all better wake up, man. Y'all better wake up. I know we got a short attention span, but I might have to do a whole TikTok on that or something like that, man. I might have to do a whole TikTok because moving on, man. Kamala Earth. Speaking of Kamala Harris, recent 2018 video was unearthed with regard to the migrant crisis. And this is what happened. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications.
Vice President Kamala Harris is reportedly considering visiting the border on Friday.
Actually, this was a 2021 NIS video, but then a 2018 video, I believe, surfaced.
It's part of her trip to Arizona, as she hopes to present herself as tough on immigration. But a video from 2018 suggests a different story.
Up with education, down, down with deportation. Up with education, down, down with deportation. Up with education, down, down with deportation. Up with education, down, down with deportation.
Jesus Marquez is a spokesman for Latino Americans for Trump.
This woman is the worst. This woman is the worst. Has to be the worst presidential candidate of all time. I cannot even believe that we having a conversation about this woman possibly becoming president of the United States of America. It's scary. Can't even fathom that y'all are considering this woman to become president of the United States of America. It's truly scary. It's insane that we are arguing back and forth with people on these social media platforms and in real life and our own families. our own families for this woman to become president of the United States of America. Seriously, we taking this into consideration.
And he joins us now. Good morning to you, Jesus.
Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So you see her there dancing, and she's shouting, up, up with education, down, down with deportation. What's your reaction?
Of course she's going to chant that because she wants open border. She has allowed more than 11 million people come across unvetted.
We don't even know how many no more.
Into the United States, and she's all for open borders. I wasn't surprised at all to hear there and see this. But look, now she also wants to give amnesty for 2 million DACA recipients. The problem at the border is not the lack of amnesty. The problem at the border is the 11 million people plus that she...
More like 21 million.
He and Biden have left into the country. Mm-hmm. And this is a problem that Latinos across the country are not liking it. When you ask Hispanics if they like the
Eric,
open border...
Eric, you know she's not the best candidate, Eric. Eric, you know she's not the best candidate. Let's be for real. Eric, let's be for real. Listen, you will bet not vote for it because you're too informed. You know better. I know you like to troll and go back and forth with the people in the chat, but Eric, you know better.
Situation, they all say no. They don't like the fact that they're jumping the line, that they're coming and taking resources that were supposed to be to Americans, and they're taking the jobs too. So I hope that she reconsiders. I don't think she will because it's been more than 4 years now. Well, 4 years. But this is for the people, the American people, to see what she's all up to and what they want, really.
Jesus, when she ran for president in 2019, this is what she said at a debate.
Not forget our DACA recipients, and so I'm going to start there. I will immediately, by executive action, reinstate DACA status and DACA protection to those young people. I will further extend protection for deferral of deportation for their parents.
She also said she would protect 6 million illegals from deportation, and she would do that through executive order. So Axios contacted her campaign to find out if she was still staying quiet about this. And this is what Axios reported. Asked this week whether she'd take those same executive actions, her campaign declined to answer. So Jesus, they're not talking about it because they know it's not a winning issue this year.
Of course not, but they're doing it. You know, she's talking about protecting 2 million. They are already protecting almost 20 million that came across under her watch, under the SAR watch. My question is, why doesn't she and even Biden go back and make an executive order to close the border, to protect the borders, to allow for our country to be secure there at the border? She's lacking that. She doesn't care about America. That's why we need somebody like Donald Trump who cares for America, will put America's policies first, and that's exactly what we need.
Meanwhile, Trump was making his campaign stops, and he visited a grocery store, and he decided that he wanted to have a conversation with people based off of what he think is really happening also. And I think that he's right about everything.
Yes, sir. Mr. Ryan. Yeah. Absolutely. Everything good? Everything okay? We're great to have you here. Thanks for coming to town. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. It's been a challenge. Well, thank you for coming to the store. Welcome to Sprankles Market. It's a beautiful market. Thank you.
I may take a slow rate. 100 are up 54%. You believe that? So it costs a typical household $28,000. Think of that. Kamala cast the tie-breaking vote on so many different things that have been so bad for our nation. It caused record inflation. Her votes cost us record inflation. She won't do an interview because one of two reasons. One reason is she's not very smart. The other reason is she doesn't know how to talk about inflation. But they caused inflation at a number that nobody can believe. We've never seen numbers like this. So, do you have any questions? These are the numbers. Do you have any questions? It's a nice group today. Yeah. This is the nicest group I've ever seen. Is everybody paying a nice price?
We only let nice people get paid.
It's not his fault. It's not Brian's fault. Anyway. Thank you very much. We're going to make a big speech at 7 o'clock. I know you're going to be there. I think you'll like it. I hope you'll like it, but it's very important. So we're in Pennsylvania. We're doing a good job. We're doing a lot of stops. I think we're way ahead. Kamala doesn't want fracking. How do you like that idea, Brian? You don't know too much about fracking, but it sounds no good.
Around here, there's a lot of jobs at stake. I can tell you that much. I have a lot of friends in the business. There's a lot of jobs at stake.
500,000.
Between that and the mining, there's a lot of jobs at stake. A lot of people shop here every day.
She gets in, the whole place is going bust. And I'm talking about not only your store, I'm talking about the whole country. Thank you. I'm going to see you at 7 o'clock. We're doing a big speech.
Mr. President, today went really well. It seemed like there was a lot of farmers that were there. Everybody was super touched by what you got to say, just opening up the table to be able to talk to them. What did it mean to you to be out there? And even the journey up to here, just seeing the land, their land as you're traveling.
Beautiful. And the crowds. What about the crowds? Did you see outside? I bet you've never seen a crowd like that.
We tried to keep it quiet.
Well, that didn't work. I'm so honored by the crowds. We're talking about thousands of people. You people saw it. This group over here, I've never seen anything like it. In a beautiful but small area, town. I think that when you look at what's happened to this state, when you look at what they've done to the country with the border, millions of people coming in from prisons and jails, from mental institutions, from insane asylums, millions of people, terrorists pouring into our country, and you see it all over. You see what's going on in Ohio, you see what's going on in Aurora, in Colorado. The mayor, they don't know what to do. Nobody knows what to do. They're being invaded by very tough people. Many came out of jails, many came out of gangs in Caracas, but from all over the world. Caracas, Venezuela, crime is down 70% because they took their criminals out of the town. They took them out of the town, they took them out of the cities, and they moved them into the United States of America. Think of it. You really have to think this because I say it a lot, but I'm saying it now on live television. They come out of jails, prisons, there are a slight difference. One is tougher than the other. They come out of mental institutions, insane asylums, and they're terrorists and they're traffickers in women, they're traffickers in drugs and in children. And they're dumping them, they're criminals, they're dumping them into our country, and they're taking over our towns and cities. Look at New York, look at Chicago, but look at the small towns. We can't let this happen. They are ruining our country. We can't let it happen. I'm in this beautiful town. We saw so many nice, incredible people. You can't let these, they have AK-47s, they have better equipment than some militaries have. We have to get them out of our country. These are criminals. These are not people that are going to make America great again. These are people that are going to destroy America. And Biden, I don't think Biden knows anything about it. I actually don't think he has a clue. But the radical left that are controlling our country right now, they're destroying our country. And we have to get those people out of here. We have to get criminals out of the United States of America. We can't have it. Thank you very much.
I think that it's a clear, distinct difference between the two. Some people are going to put their head in the sand and act like he's not the best candidate for the United States of America. They just don't like him. And there's some people that's just going to vote blue no matter what. They could tell you that they're going to put you in insane asylums yourself. And it's some people that's just going to vote for it no matter what. So that's what we face. And we got a battle on our hands, and we can't think that we automatically won. We just got to keep hitting it. All right, y'all? Read a couple of the super chats, and then I want to go over to the final part of the show. Turtle says, Anton, y'all should review the conservative versus liberal or vice versa from Jubilee on Q or after hours. I'll look into it. And Andre Andrews says cartels making $3,500 per border crossing, and they're getting over 1,000 illegals a day across the border in Arizona and Texas. Dems is good for the cartels. Florida Panoramic says, hope all is well. Patreon question. What do you think about billionaires dumping NVIDIA and investing millions in IBIT? I'll look into it. I'll deep dive into it. I'm not familiar with it, but I'll look into it and we can discuss it on the next Stock Club right after Real Estate Club. All right. Right now, we do have a video that is dropped inside of the Patreon that I dropped this morning. Make sure you go and check it out. If you're not a bag chaser, do so. And if you want to pull up and kick it with me in person, I'm going to be in Atlanta on November 2nd and Detroit on the 14th of December, all right? Put Anton in the discount code. It's right there in the description, and it's in the pin to the top of the chat. Shout out to Lil Black Duck 2001 says, Anton, look into First Diversity Staffing. They do temp job placement for migrants by bidding $20 to $25 an hour job, then shaving another $5 from the migrants. They place 10,000 people. This is insane. Shout out to my girl Molly, was over there cooking with fish grease last night on the Q show. The Grayway says, I play an organ for a church, and I have to hear, don't vote for Trump every Sunday. I want to walk out, but we don't fumble the bag over here. Get your money, Grayway. Get your money, big dog. I like that new profile picture too. All right, y'all. Last thing that I want to go over is jobs. Jobs. Why are men now leaving the workforce? First, I want to go into Amazon having a new in-office leading the way for a 5-day work policy. Everybody going back to work. Ain't even no hybrid no more.
5-day in-office work week. The new change in policy marks a return to the pre-pandemic way of working, which was turned upside down for all of us by COVID. So will other companies, maybe the place where you work, join the move back to work? And how are employees feeling about all this? NBC's Dana Griffin has our Sunday Focus.
Amazon has forever changed the way we shop. With the click of a button, we order everything from groceries to electronics, and in a snap, they show up at our front doors. But while customers receive deliveries at home, Amazon wants its corporate workers back in the office full-time starting next year. CEO Andy Jassy writing Monday in a memo, we've decided that we're going to return to being in the office the way we were before the onset of COVID. Adding, the move will further strengthen Amazon's culture and brainstorming. Jassy hinting at the move earlier this year.
I noticed the collaboration is better, the innovation is better. I just noticed that we've kind of gotten back to our culture more since we've been back in the office.
Currently, Amazon employees only need to be in the office 3 days a week, and remote work will continue for those with extenuating circumstances. Anxious Amazon workers aren't happy about a full-time return to the office. One writing, life is too short to spend it commuting 5 days a week.
Well, it depends. If you got the opportunity to do so, then you're going to make the adjustment. If you don't, then you're going to take your behind back into work. That's just what it's going to come back down to. And thank God, the position that I took was on condition that I never had to go back into the office. And so, I'm not in a position, a lot of y'all bag chasers, my 8 streams of income, because I dropped the video today and I detailed it for you guys. And so that video is in the Patreon. Go and check that out. It's a really, really good video, and it's chock full of information. And I'm always going to be dropping them gems for y'all exclusive. It will never be available to the general public. But some people ain't gonna have no choice. And I understand why they want to get people back into the office. Some of y'all really fumbled the bag and you messed it up. Others of y'all, they have these office buildings that they have to fill up, and it also helps them keep money moving throughout the community and everything when you're in the office and you're not from home. But for me personally, never going back. Never. The only way you can ever get me to go into an office is if you're paying me $10 million a year. I'm never, ever going back. Me personally, that's just me. I'm not telling y'all to think the way that I think. I'm just telling you, I am in a position unless I just got to fumble everything. I just got to make a whole lot of bad decisions really quickly. Me personally, I just can't go back into the office. I'm not built for it anymore. I've done my time, but I made the sacrifices early so that I can control what it is that I decide to do. And I'm just not built. And I'm okay with everybody else going back into the office. I can't do it.
Another saying, I think it is time to start looking for a role at a company that trusts their employees and treats them with respect.
The pandemic took a wrecking ball to the traditional place-based work model. And so what Amazon is trying to do is essentially roll back the clock.
Callie Williams-Yost is a flexible work expert. She says companies mandating strict return-to-office policies could face increasing backlash from workers.
I think they are going to have a hard time retaining talent, good talent. I think you're going to see they're going to have a hard time hiring talent.
People from
Last year, about 2,000 Amazon employees worldwide walked off the job, in part over the company's 3-day return to office mandate.
That's why they got all of these migrants coming in here. That's why they got all of these migrants coming in here, because y'all don't want to go to work.
And while Amazon joins companies like Citigroup, Walmart, and UPS in tightening return to office rules, overall, just 33% of companies require workers in the office 5 days a week. And what about employees? What do they want when it comes to work? According to a Gallup survey of more than 18,000 workers, around 53% expect and prefer hybrid work, citing work-life balance and higher productivity as crucial factors. With 3 in 10 hybrid workers saying they were extremely likely to leave an organization if it didn't offer some degree of flexibility, while 20% say they prefer.
You can only do it if you got choices. If you ain't got choices, then you can't do it. You can only do it if you got choices. If you don't have choices, and you know what's so funny? When you have choices, they're willing to concede. I said, hey, man, and some of the bag chasers, we ain't going to talk about it out openly. But I said, hey, man, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, and I'm going to prepare to make my transition by the end of the year. They said, hold off for a second. Before you just come to your final conclusion, give us a second and let us evaluate some things. I said, okay. Y'all got to the end of the year, but I'm out of there. I'm up out of here.
In-person work, as it gives them opportunities to socialize and collaborate more effectively. Experts like Yost argue that with the pandemic in the rearview mirror, companies now have an opportunity to forever change how and where we work.
This was a crisis-driven execution of flexibility, but now it's time to go back and optimize that flexibility for the workforce and the business, not to try to roll back the clock to 2019.
And Dana joins.
So with that being said, CNBC recently dropped a video that was detailing men are no longer being in the workplace and they're walking away from it. Check it out.
Men have been steadily dropping out of the workforce, especially men aged 25 to 54, who are often considered to be in their prime working years. As of August 2024, 13.7% of prime-age men were not working, compared to just 7.2% in 1954.
That's crazy.
The long-term
13.7% is the entire black population. We only 13, a little over 13, a little under 14% of the population. Imagine all black people not working. It's crazy.
In labor force participation by so-called prime-age men is a tremendous worry for our society, for our economy, and probably also for our political system.
I don't know what they're doing.
Surplus of prime-age
I haven't
workers
seen this video. I'm watching it for
who
the
could
first
be
time.
working and aren't, and that's this puzzling problem.
The unemployment rate for prime-age working men sat at 3.4% in August 2024. This number primarily includes those who are unemployed and looking for a job. But about 10.5% of men in their prime working years, or roughly 6.8 million men nationwide, are neither working nor looking for employment, compared to just 2.5% in 1954.
What's surprising is it's not a COVID phenomenon. It's not a
maybe men are
recession
built different
phenomenon.
nowadays.
And for every prime-age man who is unemployed and looking for a job, there are more than 3, and some years 4, who are neither working nor looking for work.
So what's driving men out of the workforce? And if left unchecked, what impact will it have on the U.S. economy?
I'm pretty sure that I'm going to work. I'm going to do some form of work until I die. That's just who I am. I love what I do. I will always be productive. I'm always going to be a bag chaser, the lead bag chaser. And so I'm pretty sure that I'm always going to be so productive that it's just going to drive me to be even more successful because I'm building a legacy here. I just need it. I retired in the end of 2019, and I was like, hell no. It probably was exaggerated by the pandemic, but by the end of 2019, I wasn't even, I had retired, I think in September 2019. But by the end of the year, before the pandemic even really hit, I was like, let me get busy building up another business or doing something. I was like, no, I tried it. I did it. I didn't like it. It didn't make me feel good about myself. And maybe I'm just different. Maybe I'm just built different. Maybe I got a different disposition. I was taught different. My father always worked. My grandfather always worked. I just built different. I don't know how guys just go about just not working. That's crazy to me. And they don't just not work and just be having a bunch of money. They not work and they be broke. I can't play video games and be broke at the same time. I can't look at my bank account and be like, you know what? Let me go ahead and turn on the game. Nah, there's some money out there somewhere. Let's go get it.
Nearly half of prime-age men out of the workforce cited obsolete skills, lack of education and training, poor work record, or security issues as a reason preventing them from work.
Education is a very important predictor of a prime-age man's odds of being out of the labor force.
Don Drigo says, if there's no need for a family, men, by and large, have no need to be successful. Are you serious? So you saying that if you have nobody that's pushing you or no reason to take care of somebody else, then there's no reason for you to be successful. How do you justify that? So you don't want a better lifestyle? You don't want options? You don't want to drive the cars that you want to drive? You don't want to live where you want to live? You don't want to go and just have the option to do what you want to do? You don't want to be fresh and just rock out? You know, yesterday, I had them special order a jacket for me at the Gucci store.
I'm sorry.
Just because I could. Just because it was sweet. It had this, the leather on it was so supple. It was so beautiful. It's so gorgeous. I don't even remember the price that I paid for it. I have no clue the price that I paid for it at all. I buy what I want. I do what I want. When I want it, I just go and get what I want. I don't know what the price was because I wanted it. And so I had the ability to go and do it because why? Because I'm successful and I'm productive. I don't do stuff for other people. Other people benefit as a result of me doing stuff. Don Drigo, are you telling me that if you don't have a family, that's the only, outside sources is the only things that's powering you? If Anton thinks money buys happiness, he hasn't been up that long. No, it's just that you ain't made enough money yet. Red Moon says, if Anton thinks money buys happiness, he hasn't been up that long. You just haven't made enough money. You don't even know the type of problems that I solve because I got resources. Tell that to my mom who can go and do anything that she wants. And she just called me and be like, Anton, let me get this amount of money. Let me get that amount of money. Tell that to my mom. Tell that to my wife's mom who is enjoying her new car. And she ain't got to worry about some of the things that she was worrying about before I bought her new car.
Morning.
Hey, what's going on? You busy? This is Anton. I was just checking on you, seeing how the car was treating you, the new car was treating you. I'm on a live stream, but I just wanted to call you and see how you was doing.
It's good. I'm doing fine. I'm doing okay. I don't know. I don't know. I just haven't felt myself late this last couple of days. I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
Nothing's wrong. Nothing's wrong. Just, what probably going on. That's all.
Well, we might need to get you a massage or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll be okay. I just got to get it together. I just, I don't know.
Okay. Well, how's
But other than that, I'm okay. Car's good. Everything's good with that. So, I don't have any problems with it. So, I'm just fine with that.
Okay. Well, let me know if you need anything, okay?
I definitely will, hon. Thank you so much for calling. You okay?
I'm doing great. Just checking on you.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I sent all your scripts to the pharmacy and all is good.
Okay, thank you, baby.
I will definitely call you if I need anything. Thank you so much.
Okay, baby.
Okay, love you.
All right, bye. Listen, don't tell me that money don't buy happiness. I could fix her situation. I could definitely fix my mother-in-law's situation. I wonder what other people got to do? They got to depend on their mother-in-law in order to fix their situation. Money fixes a lot of things. It really does. I don't know why they lied to you, but I guarantee you that it does.
The big impacts are on the non-college educated groups on their ability.
And no, we get our people new stuff, nothing used.
To enter and stay in the labor market.
Men who are not college educated leave the workforce at higher rates than men who are. At the same time, fewer younger men have been enrolling in college over the past decade.
If you look at the geography of where the most prime age men out of the labor force are in particular, they tend to be in places that have experienced manufacturing declines. They used to graduate with a high school education and have good, stable jobs. They weren't glamorous jobs. They were, automobile factories, sometimes mines, other manufacturing jobs, but they were respected, they were stable, and they could support a family. Since then, due to technology-driven growth, a little bit due to Chinese competition, you've had a lot of manufacturing firms and the places where they were located that were one-horse towns become ghost lands, right?
Wages could also be a contributing factor. Median annual wages for men with a high school diploma have fallen from just over $57,600 in 1973 to $45,000 in 2023, adjusted for inflation. At the same time, wages for those with a bachelor's degree or more have increased by about $6,300 during the same period.
I think it matters which degree you get also. So factor that in. I know we like to use this blanket statement and say, oh man, bachelor's degree, degrees, or whatever. Listen, if you got a basket weaving degree, it's going to be much different than a cybersecurity degree, all right?
This decline in earnings led to a 44% growth in the exit rate of men without a college degree from the workforce between 1980 and 2019.
I think, honestly, status plays more of a role than wages. As I said before, you had a manufacturing job. It was respected. You were part of a community, breadwinner for your family. You had organizations.
Why are so many people broke in the chat? I know they're not bag chasers. Mel Jones says, money ain't buying happiness, dog. That ish capping. He didn't even use no periods in between or no commas. Cap in order to get on top, you have to sacrifice more than you sign up for. What? All right, go ahead, bring over the migrants. Go ahead, bring over the migrants. Where the migrants at? Come on and get them over here. Somebody bring on the migrants and get them over here, and let's just go ahead and replace this whole group. Let's just go ahead and get them out of here, because this is too lazy. This is too lazy. I just can't believe the amount of weak men that we have in this society today. Dog, if you don't work, you don't eat. That's scripture. That's written in blood, big dog. You have to be a productive member of society. What is wrong with you? So what you want to do? You just want to sit around all day and do nothing?
Like unions or Rotary clubs that surrounded your job, and that's gone.
In general, men without children are also less likely to participate in the workforce compared to men with children, especially men without education or training after high school.
What we have seen is a huge rise in the proportion of prime-age men who've never been married, and a very, very significant decline in the proportion who are currently married and have kids at home. And those two trends track closely with the big changes that we've seen about male attachment in the labor force. Correlation isn't always causation, but looking at that correspondence is real important, I think.
Meanwhile, 57% of the roughly 10% of men not looking for work said their physical or mental health was the main reason for not being employed.
What? Oh, all right, I gotta turn this off. So this is a petition for being sassy. That's all this video is. 57% of men said their physical or mental health was the main reason for not being employed. Wow. Seriously? Jesus, what's wrong with y'all? Y'all like being dusty? You like being on Section 8? You like being broke? You like just... I'm like mental health. Yo, mental health. What? Yo, this is insane, bro. Somebody said, yeah, Anton, this is not the 50s. They worked 10 times harder than y'all in the 50s. Their jobs was way harder than y'all's. Y'all ain't even doing nothing no more. Dog, you can't even get up for the meeting. You can't get up for the call. You can't go and drive a high-low something. Like y'all that weak?
Employed, with 55% citing a disability, serious illness, and or receiving disability benefits.
The whole question about the health and the mental health of male workforce dropouts is an extremely important and I think concerning one. Distressing proportion of the men who are out of the workforce say they're using pain medications every day.
A 2017 research paper estimates that an increase in opioid prescription between 1999 to 2015 led to about 43% of the decline in men's labor force participation rate during that period.
So then you have to ask, what sort of pain are we talking about? Are we talking about physical pain? Are we talking about metaphysical pain? There's an enormous amount of depression, mental health challenges that men in this grouping face. Some of this is a chicken.
I know a lot of dudes that's trying to get jobs and can't get it because women not hiding men not like that. The fuck is y'all saying? I know a lot of dudes that's trying to get jobs and can't get it because women not hiding men like that. What? Can't nobody stop me from getting a job? Who can stop you from getting a job? Who gonna stop me from working? You can't stop me from being productive. So you letting a woman tell you and prevent you? Can't no woman compete with me? This is such a sassy generation of men. Jesus Christ. The women is not hiring men like that? Is that what you meant to say? Even if you change the word to say women are hiring men like that, that is dusty as fuck. Oh, man. Oh, man. This is bad out here. This is so bad. Jesus. Yeah, bring on the migrants. I'm with it, Arlex. Hey, migrants, come on over. I see why they shipping y'all in. I see why they flying y'all in. Where my Haitians at? Where my Venezuelans at? Where my Cubans at? What up? Like, hey, like Umar Johnson is. Where my Haitian Africans? Where my Cuban Africans? Where's my Venezuelan Africans? Ifa Tunde. Just insane. Good God almighty. Listen, I'm a lot of things, but I ain't never going to be broke. I'm a lot of things. Y'all need to go and read the about the talents. Let me see if I can find something. We're going to end this a little different today. We're going to end this a little different. Matthew 25. (14 through 30). King James Version. What's going on, big dog?
What's going on, man? How you feeling?
Chilling. You working today?
Yeah, I'm here.
Man, you know I came and picked up that jacket yesterday.
Yeah. I saw what they told me when I got here this morning.
That was expensive.
It was? I mean, what was it? It was, I didn't even look at how much it was. I just ordered it like you asked me to. Hold on. Let me look at my phone. So, oh yeah, that was 51.
Yeah, y'all. Well, with tax, it was like $5,300.
Yeah.
It's worth it though. It's beautiful.
Oh yeah. It's a beautiful piece, man. Beautiful piece. But yeah, I'm here today.
I bet I might stop in a little later. I'm gonna come in after I get done doing what I do.
All right, man. All right. I'll see you soon then.
All right, big dog.
Yep.
All right, bye. We're going to end this a little bit different. The way that leather hit, it's a little different. We're going to end this a little different today, all right? No more dusty. No more dustiness. We done with being dusty in today's time. All right? No more dustiness out here in these streets. All right? We're going to end this a little bit different. This is Matthew 14. For the kingdom of heaven is as a man traveling into a far country who called his own servants and delivered unto them his goods. Unto one he gave 5 talents, unto another 2, and another 1. To every man according to his several ability, and straightway took his journey. Then he that had received the 5 talents went and traded with the same and made another 5 talents. So he was productive. He took his and he doubled it. He made it 10. And likewise, he that received 2, he also gained another 2. So the one that got the 2, he went and doubled it also. But he that received 1 went and digged the earth and hid his Lord's money. After a long time, the Lord of those servants cometh and reckoneth with him. And he so that had received the 5 talents came and brought the other 5 talents, saying, Lord, thou hast delivered unto me 5 talents. Behold, I have gained beside them 5 talents more. And his Lord said unto him, Well done, thou good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into thy joy of thy Lord. And he that also had received 2 talents came and said, Lord, thou hast delivered unto me 2 talents. Behold, I have gained another 2 talents beside them. His Lord said unto him, Well done, good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into thy joy of the Lord. Then he which had received 1 talent came and said, Lord, I knew that you was a hard man, reaping where thou hast not sown, and gathering where thou hast not strewed. I knew you was hard. And I knew that you was going to come and ask for this. I didn't know you was going to be promoting people and allowing for them to really get the bag, testing them to see if they was productive or not. And I was afraid, and I went and hid the talent in the earth. Lo, there thou hast, that is thine. So the one that you gave me, I can go and dig it back up from the earth. And his Lord answered and said unto him, Thou wicked and slothful servant, you wicked in your spirit, and you slothful. Thou knewest that I reap where I sowed not, and gather where I have not strawed, and thou oughtest therefore have my money. Where my money at? With the exchanger, to the exchangers, And then at my coming, I should receive what is mine with usury, with interest. Where mine with it, I want my money with interest. Take therefore thy talent from him and give it to him which got the 10. For unto everyone that hath shall be given, and he shall have abundance, but from him that hath not shall be taken away even that which he hath. And cast ye the unprofitable servant into outer darkness, there shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. And when the Son of Man shall come in his glory and all the angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of glory, and then it goes on, so on and so forth. Thou wicked and slothful servant, you wicked, evil, funky thing, you ain't got my money and you ain't paid it with interest. I want my monies. I want my monies. Run me my money with interest, with usury. You know I was coming for my bag, and you sat here and you wasted my time and you wasn't productive. Hey man, give the one that got the 1, give it to the one with the 10. That's how we do it in the kingdom. That's how we do it. Every man shall be productive. Every man shall not be lazy. Every man shall go getteth thieth bag. And that is why they call us the chasers. That, my friends, is why they call us the chasers. All right? All right? So I'll give you a little bit of church service on the way out the door. No more being dusty. No more being dingy. No more being slothful. No more being wasteful. Or we going to take what you got and we going to give it to the ones that's productive. You know what I'm saying? Here, I want my money with dip. With dip. David Simpson Jr. says, because if you ain't productive, then I ain't got no use for you. I don't need no more hanger-ons. Migrants taking black jobs, Trump was right. Shout out to you. Linda Jackson is in the building, says, I'm new to your channel and I appreciate that you really broke it all down so that even a person like me know what my responsibilities are to keep my community good. Shout out to Linda Jackson. I appreciate you for being here. Gina Dews is in the building, says, Anton is easier to fool people than convince them they have been fooled. That's true, Gina. Philip Sadiq says, dropping out? What will you do? I've been working since the age of 16 and I ain't thinking about that. Because you have joy. It's joy in getting to the bag. Stephen Slayer 1 is in the building, says, Anton is cool. The woman can be the bricklayers, construction workers, ditch diggers, and they got this big dog. No, I want my money. Smooth Artist says, real men don't work. What is going on out here in these streets? Unfortunately, there are so many people that think like Don Drigo, says Gina Dews. Rose Summer says, as a migrant, I came here for the money. I want these men to stay weak for me. Talk to her, Ro. Okay. Night Jade says, have to have purpose to be happy. Money buys the ability to further your purpose. I'm just saying, focus on your purpose. These men have no purpose. Why bother? I'll take them all. I'm going to take all of the money, all of the goodness, all of the blessings. Hey, ladies, y'all can come and rock with me. Y'all can work for me. I'm going to make sure that y'all get put to work the right way. The Gray Way says, lazy hands make for poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth. Proverbs 10 and 4. Smooth Artist says, I don't chase money, money chase me. Okay. Youngblood City says, the chat is letting me down. We bag chasers. No, it's some people that's bag chasers. Not everybody that's watching this is a bag chaser. I took that seriously when you said bag chasers to make $250,000 plus this year. I'm almost there, big bro. Let's get it. Let's run it up. Turtle says, as a 25-year-old, this sounds like Victim Olympics. My grandpa told me if you was born in America, you have no excuses at all. A lot of people are just lazy. Ivy League says these be the same dudes that try to push their insecurities on you. I got to give it to you. Just because you don't want to work and have money, don't try to make me feel bad about it. Shout out to AD, man. We going to get it, Ivy. We going to get it. C. Dunny says a lot of these men were coddled through life, sassy simps. Facts. And now they have to fight. They don't have competitive backbone. No hustler's mentality. That means it's more for me. Turtle Island says, same people complaining, never worked, saved, became financially stable enough to even have an emergency fund. Les in the building says, we debt-free chasers up, truckers up, run it up. Giving back says, men are lazy to put themselves in a position to get real money. They don't even hustle to sell drugs no more. They're not even unproductively productive. After speaking with you over the weekend and witnessing the amount of people talking reckless in the chat about money and not buying happiness, I understand exactly what you mean about changing the mindset. Yeah, I was kicking ass this weekend. Yeah, Chris. Yeah, now you understand why I was on you so hard, right? Smooth Artist says, money is the root of all evil. And this is why you guys have to be very careful, right? Because when you listen to people, they can sound like they smart, but they stupid as hell. Let me say that again. They can sound as though they're smart, but they're stupid. That's not scripture. Let me say it again for the people in the back. That is not scripture. It's the love of money. The love of money. In 1 Timothy 6:10, for the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some covet after, they have erred in the faith and pierced themselves through many sorrows. Money is a tool. The love of anything can become your God. When you worship it, instead of leveraging it, then it becomes the root of evil. It then will cause you to do things instead of staying in character and getting it the right way and doing what you're supposed to do. You'll create an OnlyFans. You'll sell drugs. You'll poison your community. Says nothing about money itself. A woman can be evil. Your pedestalization of her could actually be the evil part, not the woman itself. The love of money is the root of all evil, not money itself. This is why y'all got to be careful who you follow. Be careful who you listen to. One word, one missed word could lead you astray. That's why he said you'll know them by their fruit. Stop listening to people. He capitalized it like he knew what he was talking about too. Be careful what you say, because I'm going to highlight you and I'm going to make you look like a fool. Hello. Yep. That's my breakfast. So anyways, let's continue. Yeah, they just be talking. They just be, go and join Bible study. They just be talking. Let me read a few more super chats, but thank you for the super chat. Don't be knowing what they saying, just talking. They never read a Bible in their life. Kenya from Cali says, thank you for this reading. We need to read for ourselves, but this was necessary. Amen and amen. Amen. Get you a man that understands his word. David Simpson says, the lust for money. No. The love of money. The love of money. Jesus. Not lust. It's not what it says. That's not what the word says. In 1 Timothy 6:10. Okay? Let me read it for you guys so that you don't be distracted from the real thing. The love of money is the root of all evil. Okay? Okay, love. It's a word. Love. That's what it is. Okay, we can't remix the word. We got to make it do what it do. Thank you for the insight. Brock says, pass the love offering. Hallelujah. A little something for the collection plate. Bringing forth the good word. Shout out to you. I appreciate you, Brock. Also, Gina Dew says, Ecclesiastes 10:19 says, money is the answer for everything. That is true. That is scripture. Bless is in the building and says, many people think Jesus and the 12 were poor, but they had money. Talk to them. The 12 was going to the market to feed 5,000 people. Luke 9:13, but Jesus said no. Listen, man, all of the greatest people in the Word of God, some of the greatest people were some of the richest people on the face of this earth. All right? We got to be careful. We got to be careful. You don't have to be a sloth and poor just because you're righteous. Some of the greatest men in the Word were some of the most celebrated and the richest and the most successful. All right? So anyways, y'all got to go. Y'all got to read it for yourself. Before you start quoting scripture, you got to make sure that you studied up. All right? Gird it up, breastplate of righteousness. Make sure that you doing your thing and you getting to it. All right? I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.